No, ma'am, I do not know.
And with regard to the safety plan that you keep talking about, have you ever provided any attorney in this case that safety plan?
No, I have not.
I'd pass the witness.
Ms. Rudd?
So, the time that the children were placed with Gloria Rodriguez, that was who Ignacia wanted the children placed with, correct? Can y'all hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, ma'am.
At the time that the children were placed with Gloria Rodriguez, that was a person suggested or approved by Ignacia, correct?
I don't know if Ignacia had approved that or not. I don't know if at that time, because that had all been done in Amarillo, that she had even been spoken to about the removal, ma'am. I don't believe we had found her yet.
Okay, so you don't know anything about the placement with Gloria.
No, I completed the placement with Gloria, but it was because she was family, and she was the only appropriate family that we could find at that time.
Okay, so but she was appropriate family for these boys.
Yes.
Okay, I'll pass the.
Ms. Naranjo?
Ms. Little, you became involved as the investigator on this case starting on November 7th of 2023.
Yes, ma'am.
And you were the investigator up till the point at least of November 28th of 2023. That was pretty much the entirety of your investigation before the adversary hearing.
Correct.
So you were involved with the case, at least investigating, for about 21 days.
Yes, ma'am.
And during those 21 days, Ms. Casillas and Mr. Rodriguez did 3 different safety plans with you?
Yes.
And what's the procedure with doing these safety plans? Do you go over them with the parents?
Yes, we have to complete them with the parents and the safety monitor, and everybody has to sign.
And did Ms. Casillas and Mr. Rodriguez both sign all 3 safety plans?
I know Miss Casillas did. I don't know if Jonathan did or not. They were all completed in Amarillo.
And as far as you were aware, were those safety plans all gone over with the parents and they understood the rules and conditions involved with all 3 safety plans?
Yes.
And were all 3 safety plans violated during those 21 days?
Yes.
And at least for your understanding, does that indicate a lack of cooperation and an unwillingness from the parents?
Yes.
And does that create concerns for the department?
Yes.
And when was the children placed with Miss Gloria Rodriguez?
The day of removal, ma'am, which I believe was the 28th. I might be wrong.
Of 2020, November of 2023?
Yes.
Okay. Regarding the safety plans, was the first safety plan the one where Miss Casillas agreed to move to Pampa to reside with Jonathan's parents?
Yes.
And Jonathan's parents are Pedro, and then his wife is San Juanita Rodriguez?
That's correct.
And then did Miss Casillas admit to you that she actually lied and never moved to Pampa at any point?
That's correct.
And that she admitted that she only agreed to this to get CPS off of her back?
That's correct.
And then the violation of the second one, for the second safety plan, was that when she allowed Jonathan to supervise the visitation with the children?
Well, she allowed Jonathan to come over, and it was just him and her in the home. Yes.
And that was the violation of the second time?
Yes, ma'am.
And then the third violation of safety plan is when the department could not locate her whatsoever?
That's correct.
I'll pass the witness.
All right. Anyone have further questions for Ms. Little?
No, Your Honor. I do, Your Honor.
Go ahead.
Ms. Little, you said that the safety plans were done and gone over in Amarillo, correct?
Yes, with Ignacia.
And so did you go over them in Amarillo with Ignacia?
I did not.
And then so you said earlier that they were gone over with both of the parents and you were aware of that. So how are you aware if you weren't physically present?
according to documentation, that's what occurred, ma'am.
And you just said that you weren't sure if Jonathan signed all three of them or not, correct?
That's correct.
And so if you aren't sure if Jonathan signed all three of them, is it fair to say you're not sure if they were gone over with him?
I don't know if the safety plans were gone over with Jonathan or not,
And
because
so
he was not supposed to have unsupervised contact.
I guess my question would be, what does him not supposed to have unsupervised contact have to do with you knowing whether the safety plans were gone over with him? Those are two separate things, right?
Yes.
And so if you don't know if they're signed by him, how can you say that he violated them if you don't even know if they were gone over with him?
Well, Miss Ignacia violated them.
Okay, but you're not sure about Jonathan Rodriguez, correct?
That's correct.
And on the third one, you said that she violated that safety plan because she couldn't be found, but that wouldn't have had anything to do with Jonathan Rodriguez, right?
That's correct.
Pass the witness.
Anyone else further questions?
No.
All right, can Ms. Little be excused? All right, Ms. Little, I'll go ahead and remove you so you can go back to your afternoon's business. Thank you for your testimony.
Thank you.
Uh-huh. All right, next witness.
The department would call Brian Armendariz.
Okay.
And what was, I guess, your part in that investigation?
I was Investigator Little's supervisor at the time and supervising this case.
All right. And so were you involved in any of the, I guess, family team meetings in this case?
Yes.
Specifically, were you involved in the first one that was held in November 8th?
Yes.
All right. And I mean, ultimately, what was the resolution or plan going forward after that?
So our first family team meeting, Ignacia had agreed to move into Jonathan's father's home, paternal grandfather and his wife's home, and agreed to be supervised by them.
Was Jonathan allowed to be a supervising party at that time?
No.
Were both of them Ms. Casillas and Mr. Rodriguez made aware of that?
Yes. I met with Mr. Rodriguez and Ms. Casillas at the hospital, and both Mr. Rodriguez and Ms. Casillas both signed the safety plan.
All right. And so, let's see. After that, I guess after that family team meeting, did you have any further involvement or were you involved in any other family team meetings?
Yes, we were involved in a second family team meeting. Yes.
Okay. And do you recall when that was?
It was, I would say, at least 2 weeks after. Don't recall the exact date.
Okay. And did the parents, I guess, were they involved in that safety plan meeting or that family team meeting?
So the second family team meeting, it was only Miss Casillas, and her friend's mother, Miss Mary Ann Solis.
Okay. Did anything change at that family team meeting regarding the Jonathan being allowed to be a supervising party?
So what that meeting was is that the safety plan had been broken twice at that time. So that second family team.
The non-responsive, Your Honor.
Overruled. Go ahead.
So at that second family team meeting, I was explaining to Ms. Casillas that Investigator Little had been over that day, and she was reporting that Mr. Rodriguez had tried running her and the children over. We explained that second safety plan that got put in place, that her friend Desiree Solis and Mary Ann would be the supervising parties at that point. And when Investigator Little went there with the FBSS worker, Miss Mary Ann Solis was not there. She was being unsupervised. So I reside in Amarillo. So I had asked Miss Casillas and Miss Mary Ann Solis to come up to the office so that we can meet with them, so we can come up with a different arrangement. And
let me ask, so was Miss Solis then, I guess, supposed to be a supervising party?
Yes.
But Jonathan wasn't, correct?
Yeah.
All right. And I mean, after those allegations.
Sorry, I didn't hear the answer.
That is correct.
And so after these new allegations of domestic violence, I mean, did you change things to let him then supervise?
No, at no point.
Okay. And so, were you involved in that decision to ultimately forego the family-based services in order to participate and go forward with removal?
Yes, because at that meeting, we implemented a third safety plan, where Ms. Casillas was going to move into the residence of Mary Ann Solis. And at that point, Miss Mary Ann Solis gave me a phone call and let me know that Ms.
Your
Casillas,
Honor, object to hearsay.
Sustain.
Well, let me ask you, Mr. Armendariz, after she was supposed to move into that residence, did the department have problems finding Miss Casillas?
yes,
Was she able to be located at that residence?
No.
Were you able to locate her or the children in order to even proceed with any kind of OTP or family-based services?
correct, I was not able to find them.
And what was the concern at that point?
The concern of Ms. Casillas' instability, their act of not being protective of them, of the children, and violating 3 safety plans.
Okay. And so after, I guess, making those attempts to locate the family, did you have any other real involvement with this case?
No.
All right, I'll pass the witness, Judge.
Ms. Lucero?
Your Honor, Mr. Armendariz, how many times did you, before the kids were removed, did you meet with Ignacia?
I would say 1 time virtually, and I would say 3 times in person.
Okay. And how many times out of those virtually, the 3 times in person, how many times did you lay eyes on the kids?
I believe it was only twice.
Okay. And at that time, I don't see any reports that the kids were any type of immediate danger. I didn't see any in the report, any kind of that the kids were dirty or were not being fed or were covered in bruises. You didn't see anything like that, did you?
I did not.
Okay. So as far as the safety plan and who was supposed to be around, y'all had concerns about that, correct?
Correct.
But as far as her being able to take care of her kids and feed them and make sure that they were safe, as far as, not any kind of abuse, there were no concerns about that about Ignacia, were there?
We did have concern that Miss Ignacia was not feeding her newborn child.
And did y'all, I didn't see anything in the report where y'all followed up with any doctors or seeing anything over any type of report that the child was underweight or failure to thrive, did y'all?
Once we removed, the children are required to have a 3-day medical exam, but during the investigation, we did not.
Okay.
That concern happened. We learned more about that concern at the time of removal when me and my worker located the children at maternal aunt's home.
Okay. And I appreciate the addition there. However, at the time that you laid out the kids, they seemed safe, correct?
Correct.
I'll pass the witness.
Ms. Mullinex?
Brian, when you met with Ms. Casillas and Mr. Rodriguez at Northwest, they signed a safety plan where Jonathan understood and agreed not to supervise Ms. Casillas' contact with the children, correct?
Correct.
That's the only thing that he agreed to, not to supervise her contact. Would you agree? And she couldn't hear you.
Yes.
Okay. And so the second time, you said that there was a second time and that Jonathan was not present. And that's whenever Ignacia had made the allegations that he had tried to run her over, correct?
Right.
And so she signs this safety plan, but Jonathan was not present. So is it safe to say he did not sign that safety plan?
Correct.
And a third time, were you present when she signed a third safety plan?
Ms. Mullinex, I apologize. I misunderstood. Yes, I was only present for the first safety plan and the third safety plan. The second safety plan got signed over a weekend with the on-call worker. And I learned about it the next business day. So
Okay. So you weren't present for the second one, but you were present for the third one.
Right.
So the first one, he says he won't supervise, and the third one, he is not present.
Right.
So what safety plan is he in violation of if he agreed not to supervise her visits?
On the first safety plan, when where he agreed not to supervise, Ms. Casillas had informed the department that she never went to Pampa, and that was back in her apartment in Amarillo. And at that point, it was with her and Mr. Rodriguez, allowing him to see the children. So she was not being supervised by anybody at that time.
And so that's her violating, right? Not necessarily him.
Well, he understood that he couldn't supervise. And he didn't act protective of at least notifying the department at that time that Ms. Casillas left Tampa.
But so you're saying he didn't act protective because he didn't report it. You're not saying he was supervising because you just said she was unsupervised, correct?
With the people that she agreed to be supervised with, yes.
Pass the witness.
I'm going to ask this before I forget it. Brian, was Mr. Rodriguez prohibited from seeing the kids unsupervised under these 3 different safety plans?
I don't believe so, Judge. We were waiting for a drug test.
Okay. So
before the assault occurred.
Okay. So it didn't have anything to do with him not seeing the kids unsupervised, but he was just not supposed to supervise moms.
Correct.
Okay. All right. Thank you. All right, Ms. Rudd.
So basically, repeatedly, over and over again, Ignacia Casas told the department what they wanted to hear, agreed to do whatever the department wanted her to do, and then did whatever she wanted. Is that correct?
That's correct.
I'll pass the witness.
Ms. Naranjo.
Mr. Armendariz, is it also a concern that Ms. Casillas had admitted to using marijuana after the child was born?
Yes.
And is that a concern regarding the safety and health and well-being of the children?
Yes.
I'll pass the witness.
All right. Anyone have further questions for Mr. Armendariz? No? Okay.
Your Honor, I'm sorry, I have one more.
Okay.
Mr. Armendariz, when was the last contact you had with Ignacia? Would it have been in November of 2023?
Yes.
Okay, so you've had no involvement as to whether or not she started working services or has done well or hasn't done well. You don't have any knowledge about that for the past year and a half. Is that correct?
We have had, believe it's been 2 investigations since after our removal. Yes.
Okay, and would you agree with me that both of those were ruled out?
I believe so. Yes. I don't have it in front of me and didn't review it. From memory, I believe that they were.
Okay. All right. I'll pass the witness, Your Honor.
Anyone else?
Just real briefly, Judge, Mr. Armendariz, I mean, what kind of concerns if any, does it raise with the department if a parent is aware of another parent violating a safety plan and doesn't report it?
Ms. Waldman, can you repeat that? I'm sorry. There must be something wrong with my volume. And can you repeat that?
Yes. What, if any, concerns does it raise for the department if one parent is aware of multiple violations of a safety plan and isn't reporting it?
Yeah, because when we implement safety plans, those are measures put in place to prevent removals. We would have danger indicators, and those are always explained in our safety plans, like on the back page. And with the vulnerability, we would hope that the non-parent would be acting appropriate or protective by understanding that there's those safety measures in place so that we can prevent a removal. And it would be important to let the department know of this.
Okay, and so if a parent doesn't do that, doesn't make you aware or act in a protective manner, does that cause any kind of concern about whether or not they're safe for the children?
Yes, just based off of their judgment and them not, being cooperative with the department and understanding about child safety and enabling the other parent. And it's at the sense would be more protecting more of the parent more than the kids.
And did that did that testimony or that concern that you just testified to play any part in removing the children from Mr. Rodriguez?
Yes.
I'll pass the witness, Judge.
Anyone else?
Now I do, Your Honor.
All right.
Brian, you were asked what it shows if a parent knows that the other parent has violated the safety plan multiple times and refuses or fails to report it. What proof do you have that Jonathan Rodriguez was aware multiple times that Ignacia Casillas violated her safety plan?
I believe that my worker did try to contact Mr. Rodriguez to try to get information on locating Ms. Casillas. But that ultimately would follow like with my worker trying to be in contact with them, but directly with myself, I can say that he understood that there was an active safety plan.
So I guess my question is, you testified earlier that I guess he had been in an apartment with her without the supervisors present, but that's the only example that you gave. So what other examples are there?
I believe that is the only example that I can think of, yes.
So you have knowledge that he didn't report her violating the safety plan one time. Would you agree? Pass the witness.
Anyone else?
Just briefly, so Mr. Armendariz, is that the same incident as the domestic violence incident that was reported, or was he at the apartment with her one time and then with her again during the alleged domestic violence incident?
No, that is correct. No, it was 2 different times. So.
All right, no further questions, Judge.
Anyone else?
Just
All right,
again,
excuse- I'm sorry, what?
I have another question.
All right.
Brian, you're aware that Ignacia indicated that she had lied about several things during the investigation?
Yes.
Are you aware of any incident reports or any reports that Ignacia or the department made to the police about an alleged incident where Jonathan tried to run over Ignacia Casillas?
Not of my knowledge.
Pass the witness.
Anyone else?
No, Your Honor.
All right, can he be
No.
excused?
No
Yes,
objection.
please.
All right, Brian, I'll go ahead and release you so you can go back to your afternoon's business. Thank you for your testimony.
Thank you.
All right, I need to take about a 2 to 3 minute break real quick, and I'll be right back.
Your Honor, could I have during that time, could I have a quick breakout room with my client, please?
Sure. All right, Ms. Wildman, your next witness.
Thank you, Judge. Department to call Joseph Valdez. Now, are you somewhat, I guess, familiar, at least with your part in the investigation involving children?
I am, yes, ma'am.
I mean, is it fair to say that you had a pretty small part in this?
I did, yes.
Specifically, were you sent out as a courtesy worker on, I believe, one occasion?
I was, yes.
And if I were to say that that was on November 2nd of 2023, does that sound about right?
I want to say November 12th, maybe?
Or, I'm sorry, November 12th.
Yes.
All right. And who were you sent out to meet with?
I was sent out to meet with Miss Casas, Ignacia Casas.
And where were you sent to meet her at?
I was seen to meet her at an apartment complex here in Amarillo.
And when you met with her, did you notify her of the rights form and everything?
I did, yes, before I entered her apartment.
And what were you sent out there for?
I was sent as a courtesy worker from another investigator to confirm that Ignacia and the kids were at this apartment complex.
Okay. Was it your understanding that there had been some kind of new allegation or new investigation, that something had happened in their investigation and they needed help with, I guess, talking with the parties?
Yes, ma'am. That's why I had to go over the notification of rights with her again because of the new allegation.
Okay, perfect. Now, were you able to locate her and the children?
I was, yes.
And was it your understanding, based on the conversation you had with Ms. Casillas, that she was supposed to have moved to Pampa with the kids.
I'm gonna object to leading.
Overruled.
She had stated that she was supposed to go to Pampa when she got out of the hospital.
And did she do that?
Um, she stated that she did briefly and then came back to Amarillo because she was door dashing.
Okay. Did she give you a reason why she didn't stay in Pampa?
She said that the home in Pampa where they were staying smelled like ashtrays. Pete, she gave the name of a Pete and Jamie who also drink. And that it was a small 1-bedroom house and they didn't have anywhere to sleep.
And so what did she say about coming back to do DoorDash?
She said that she was under the impression that Jonathan could supervise her as well.
Okay. But specifically, what did she say about coming back to Amarillo to do DoorDash?
She did not specifically give me a reason that I can recall.
But did she acknowledge that she understood that that was in violation of the safety plan?
She did, yes.
And so was it your understanding, I guess, that she was having Jonathan over so she could do the DoorDash job?
Yes.
Okay. So she was breaking the violation or breaking the safety plan so she could go do that job.
Objection,
Correct.
speculation, Your Honor.
Sustained.
Is that what she told you?
I cannot recall what exactly she told me.
Okay. I'll pass the witness, Judge.
Ms. Lucero?
Thank you. Mr. Valdez, whenever you saw, you stated that you were able to locate Ignacia and the two children, correct?
Correct.
Okay, and one of them was an infant, right? Elijah?
Correct.
Okay, were you able to lay eyes on the children?
I can't remember if they were there that day. I want to say one of them was and one of them wasn't.
Okay, so
I can't recall.
All right, so are you stating, is it your testimony that you don't recall whether or not you saw the kids and what kind of condition they were in? You don't recall that?
I don't recall that.
Okay, let me ask you this. If there had been a child there and you were concerned about their welfare, would you have taken additional steps?
Yes.
Okay, but you didn't take any additional steps that day, correct?
I was told to implement a new safety plan with some different supervising parties.
I understand, but my question is, and maybe I wasn't clear, you didn't see, was there anything going on at that home that caused you concern that the kids needed to be immediately removed?
From the home, no.
Okay, or the children?
No.
Okay, I'll pass the witness.
Ms. Rod?
Judge, can I go?
Yeah. I would have got you eventually, but go ahead.
Mr. Valdez, you said that Ignacia was in an apartment in Amarillo, and is that how she was violating the safety plan?
She was under a safety plan where she was supposed to be supervised by Pete and Janie. And so she had violated that safety plan by leaving that home in Pampa.
Was Jonathan Rodriguez in the home when you went to the home?
Not here in Amarillo, no, not the apartment complex.
And so you have no information that Jonathan Rodriguez violated a safety plan. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Pass the witness.
Ms. Rudd?
I don't have any questions of this witness.
Ms. Naranjo?
Mr. Valdez, from your understanding of the first safety plan, did that first safety plan state that Mr. Rodriguez was not to supervise Ms. Casillas' contact with the children?
From my understanding, yes. The only supervising parties were Janie and Pete.
And those were Mr. Rodriguez's parents, correct?
Correct.
And on the second safety plan, did that second safety plan also not have Mr. Rodriguez as an approved supervisor for Ms. Casillas with the children?
No, it did not.
And so that role continued from the first safety plan, is that correct?
Correct. He was never, as far as from the time that I messed with this case, from the time that I messed with this case, he was never a supervising party for Ms. Casillas.
And did Ms. Casillas state to you that she was under the impression that Mr. Rodriguez could supervise her contact with the children?
She did make that statement to me, yes.
And would that give you the impression that she had violated the safety plan by allowing Mr. Rodriguez to supervise her contact?
Objection, speculation.
Sustained.
I'll pass the witness.
All right. Anyone have further questions?
No, Your Honor.
All right. Can he be excused?
Yes, Your Honor.
No objection.
All right, Mr. Valdez, thank you for your testimony. I'll remove you so you can go about your afternoon's business.
Thank you, Judge.
Uh-huh. All right, Ms. Wildman, next witness.
Your Honor, we'll call LaRonda Houston so we can get her out of the way and get her back to her responsibilities for the day.
Okay. Thank you. Ms. Wildman?
Good. Ms. Houston, could you briefly tell us how you're currently employed?
I work for Family Support Services as the Batterers Intervention and Prevention Program Coordinator.
And what is the Batterers Intervention Prevention Program?
It's an 18 to 24 week group where we work with men to help them create different coping skills and recognize their violence and become more accountable for their choices in order to move towards a life of nonviolence.
Okay. Now, specifically, does that program address issues of domestic violence?
Yes, intimate partner violence.
Okay. And when you say intimate partner violence, how is that how is that defined, or what exactly does that mean?
Any kind of past relationships, anyone that you have been intimate with, whether that be physically or emotionally, ex-wives, ex-husbands, ex-girlfriends, ex-boyfriends, one-night stands. It doesn't matter if you've had any kind of romantic interaction.
Okay. And you kind of talked a little bit about kind of what the program entailed, but what sort of, I guess more specifically, what are sort of the parts of the program that someone who engages in that program is required to complete?
Okay, so they have to complete intake. At intake, we determine their eligibility based on their accountability for any kind of violence or threats, or violation of protective orders or bond or anything like that. Then they go through orientation, which sets them up for the class. We pick their class, talk about rules and guidelines, and then they begin the 18-week or the 24-week program.
Okay. And let's talk a little bit about what you said about intake. You said you're assessing their accountability. What do you mean by that?
They have to be accountable for some type of intimate partner violence. So some type of physical violence, some type of threat of violence, or some type of violation of a protective order or a bond condition or something that puts the other party like at risk.
And when you say accountable, does that mean that they need to admit to it?
Yes.
All right. And so through your position there, and let me ask, how long have you been with Family Support Services?
It'll be 2 years in October.
All right. And so about how many intakes do you do a week?
Like 10 to 15 in a good week.
All right. And so at some point in your position, did you do an intake with an individual by the name of Jonathan Rodriguez?
I did.
And do you have his assessment report in front of you?
I do.
All right. And so the assessment report, which is being marked as petitioner's exhibit number 4, is that the report that you completed with Jonathan?
It is.
And when did you complete that intake or report?
December 19th of 2024.
All right. And so when you, as part of the intake, do you talk to them about what happened or why they're being referred to BIP?
Yes, I asked them why.
Okay. And what did Jonathan tell you about why he was being referred to BIP?
Ordered by Randall County.
Okay. And so when you I guess when you start the intake, what's the first section that you complete with a somebody who's been referred to your program?
What do you mean? I'm sorry.
Well, when you're going through through the intake form, what's the first portion that you fill out with them, or what are the first series of questions that you ask them?
Client information.
All right, and then once you've determined who it is and what they're there for, what are some of the questions you'll ask?
Do you have possession of or access to or history of using weapons? I go through that whole section between number 1 and number 11.
All right, and let me real briefly ask you a couple other follow-up questions. The form that you filled out talking about Jonathan Rodriguez, did you include some of his information on there? Like as far as identifying information, including date of birth and things like that. And I don't want you to tell me what they are just yet, because I believe we're streaming on YouTube.
Yes, I did.
And is that one of the ways that you can confirm that this is the correct person that you talked about?
Yes.
Later on, did you talk to him and ask him to identify family members?
Yes.
And who did he identify as his family members?
As an Ignacia Casillas.
All right. And so if this were a case that was involving the children, would that also help you to identify that this is in fact that person?
Yes.
All right. And so the responses throughout this form, are those based on the questions and answers that you got from Mr. Rodriguez?
Yes.
And did you sign this electronically at the bottom to confirm that you did complete this?
Yes.
The intake form that you provided here, I guess it's part of the domestic violence assessment specifically for Child Protective Services. Is that a standard form that you all use?
Yes, whenever I get a CPS referral.
All right. And do you have access to those reports that you have completed once you have completed them and turned them in?
Yes.
Your Honor, I'm going to move to admit Petitioner's Exhibit 4 as a business records affidavit that's been authenticated by the person that filled it out. She has access to it, and I believe it would fall under a custodian of record, as she's the one that filled it out and can access them as the supervisor.
Objections?
Well, Your Honor, I don't think it's any kind of affidavit at all, so it wouldn't be a business records affidavit, but
I apologize. A business record, not a business records affidavit. I apologize.
I have no objection.
No
All right, no
objection.
objections. Petitioner's 4 is admitted.
All right. And now that that's been admitted, Laurent, I think that'll be easier for everybody to kind of follow along. And so we talk about this first section. Is that the section that on the first page says safety screening and then has some other questions below?
Yes.
All right. And so specifically, as far as number 2 is concerned, what is that question and what is the response that you recorded from Mr. Rodriguez?
Says that, do you have a history of threats, assaults, ideation of homicide or suicide, or attempts of homicide or suicide? And he responded no, so I put none reported.
Okay. And for number 6, what is that question and what was his response?
I said, describe the incidents where violence was used resulting in the most harm or danger. And typically I'll ask, like, what's the most violent you've ever been? And then he reported yelling.
Okay. And as far as 11, is that where you had mentioned that he said he was there because of Randall County?
Yes.
All right. And so going down a little bit further, on page 3 in question number 2, did you ask him a little bit more specifically about what the referral was for?
Yes.
And what was his response?
He reports that he and Ignacia got into an argument and she stated that he tried to run her over. He reports that he did not and she was nowhere near the car. He reports that he has not been physically violent in the relationship at all. He reports that he has never been violent with her and she was making constant reports, and that's why he was charged with continuing violence of a family member.
Okay. And so at that point, when he said he was charged with continuing violence of a family member, at any point did he say that he had actually been charged and placed on probation for that offense?
No, he did let me know he was on probation, but he did not tell me it was for that offense.
All right. And so in section 11, does it specifically ask about the impact the violence may have had on the children?
Yes.
And what was his response to the questions in that section?
He reports they did not witness it.
And so
Let me interrupt you because this just astounds me. Ms. Houston, that
Yes.
question, how did the children witness the awareness of the violence? He reports they did not witness it. What did he say they did not witness? He said he'd never been violent. Was it the yelling?
Yeah, I'm assuming so. I did not get into it. Or if I did, I do not recall. I don't remember.
Okay, all right. Go ahead, Ms. Wildman.
and so you talked, I guess, let's see. So you talked to him about sort of the domestic violence, and at any point in that conversation, do you recall him acknowledging anything other than yelling?
I do not recall.
All right, and so then would it come, I guess, as a surprise to you that he was indicted for continuous violence towards a family member?
Yes, I did not know that.
And would it surprise you that that indictment requires more than one incident of violence to have occurred, and in fact does allege more than one incident of violence?
Yes, I did not know that.
All right. Now, as far as the eligibility, what did you ultimately determine regarding whether or not he'd be eligible for the program?
He has to be accountable for abuse in his relationship, and he is not.
Okay. And so and I guess let me ask it this way. If he doesn't admit to domestic violence, can he be accepted into the program?
No.
All right. And so if he had admitted to the fact that he was on probation for family violence and to the fact that he had been placed on probation and pled in that case, could he have qualified?
No, he has to be verbally accountable.
Well, and that's what I'm saying. If he had told you about that and actually acknowledged those incidents, could he have potentially qualified?
Yes.
Okay, I mean, that's been asked and answered, Ms. Wildman. Can we move on, please?
Sure. I mean, at this point, I guess since this evaluation, has Mr. Rodriguez at any point come back to do another evaluation to see if he could qualify for BIP again?
I am not sure. I don't have the records in front of me.
Has he ever met with you to do that?
I'm sorry? Yeah, the
Has he
first
ever
time?
met with you specifically?
Outside of the first time, I don't believe so.
Okay. And I'll pass the witness, Judge.
Ms. Lucero?
Thank you, Your Honor. Ms. Houston, whenever, do you get a referral, like in this case, from CPS or the department with payment for a BIP evaluation of an individual, or how does that work? How does it get to you?
For this case, if you look at page 3,
Okay.
question 2,
Okay.
B, I was not given a referral, so I had no perspective to match. We do request it. We asked for a referral, but I didn't get one in this case.
Okay. All right. So there was just Mr. Rodriguez showing up, setting up an appointment, and taking care of the appointment. Is that right?
It would mean that his caseworker sent the 2054, which is the payment, the way that they pay, but I didn't get a referral. So.
Okay. Did you, and by referral, so you didn't get any backstory or anything about what was going on in Mr. Rodriguez's life from CPS?
No.
Okay. Now, once you're done do you know when you received that referral? I mean, do you have that handy or no? I know you did it in December of 2024, but do you know when you received the referral?
Can I look through my email?
That's fine. I mean, do you normally try to get folks in soon after?
Yes. Yes. Okay. When I get the 2054, once we make contact, I go ahead and get them scheduled.
Okay. All right. Now, did you ever receive a referral for BIP from Gray County, or just the CPS case in Randall?
I only received the 2054 from the CPS case, I believe.
Okay. And now whenever you're doing, and I know you answered this probably the last time you were here, but just to refresh my memory, whenever you meet with them, do you just pretty much go down this questionnaire and it's a question and answer type thing?
Yes.
Okay, so you're not digging in for information. However they answer, that's what you put down, right?
If I don't have a referral, then I don't have anything to hold them accountable based off of. If I have a
Okay.
referral, then I'll ask them things based off the referral that I have.
Okay.
But if I don't have one, then I'm just taking what they give me.
Okay. Now, when he did tell you though, he did share with you that he was on probation, I guess out of, I don't know if he said Gray County, but he was on probation, correct?
Yes, he didn't have any of the information about like who the officer was or what court it was through or anything like that. He just said he was
Did you ask him what he was on probation for? I don't
did
see
not.
that in your, you did not. Okay. All right. I'll pass the witness.
All right. Ms. Houston, that's on that number 2B. Does his perspective match events as reported by the CPS caseworker? Had you been given, and this is a hypothetical, if you're given a report from a CPS caseworker and it has to do with the male engaging in domestic violence, so obviously that would be a discrepancy if they say no. Can a person be accepted into the program if they're accused of domestic violence but they deny they did it?
No, they have to be accountable. Even if it's just for something small that's not necessarily on there, then they have to be accountable for something. We have to have some sort of foundation.
Okay. And from what's been admitted into evidence, Mr. Rodriguez pled guilty to deferred for domestic violence, and part of the sentence for deferred was he had to take BIP. Would that have been through you, or could that have been through another agency?
Between here and Lubbock, there's only 2 accredited BIP programs, the one in Amarillo and the one in Lubbock. So more than likely it would have to be through family
So
support.
have you had any referrals out of the district court in Gray County?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Okay. Ms. Mullinax.
Ms. Houston, whenever Jonathan Rodriguez reported to you that he has never been violent with Ignacia Casillas, but she was making reports and that's why he was charged with continuing violence of a family member, what did you think he was on probation for if he told you he was charged with that?
I don't take it as like your charge is what you're on probation for, because I don't work with them. So I have people that have come for probation. They're on probation for other things, but come through CPS. So.
And you didn't think it was important to ask if that's specifically what he was on probation for?
It's not something that I asked.
And he did report that he yelled, and he did report that the alleged victim was his ex-girlfriend, correct?
Yes.
So you were aware, not necessarily about anything that you were given by CPS, but you were aware of a little bit of the situation. Would you agree? I
was aware that he yelled, yes.
And you were also aware that Ignacia Casillas alleged that he had tried to run her over, right?
Yes.
Are you aware that he was never charged with that offense?
No, I'm not aware of that.
I'd pass the witness.
Ms. Rudd?
I don't have any questions for this witness.
Ms. Naranjo?
Thank you, Your Honor. Ms. Houston, why is it important that a person going through your interview needs to be held accountable for some type of abuse in order to start the BIP program?
It's honestly just the foundation of the program. BIP is about accountability and responsibility, which means if you're in a group full of people that are accountable for some sort of violence and you are not, then you don't help the group dynamic.
And so it's an important first step to continue any part of the program.
Yes.
I'll pass the witness.
Anyone else have further questions?
Your Honor, I need to clarify something with Ms. Houston, please.
Go ahead.
Ms. Houston, when Judge Graham was asking you about a hypothetical, and you stated that you do receive referrals from Gray County at times, is that correct?
I have received a referral from Gray County before, yes.
Okay, but you didn't receive anything from Mr. Rodriguez from Gray County, is that correct?
I do not believe so, no.
Okay, all right. That's all I had, Your Honor. I'll pass the witness.
Anyone else? All right, can she be excused?
No objection.
Yes, please.
All right, Ms. Houston, thank you for your testimony. I'll remove you so you can go about the rest of your day's business.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, Ms. Wildman, next witness.
Thank you, Judge. I will go ahead and call Elia Gomez. Thank you,
Okay.
Judge. And Ms. Gomez, how are you related to the children?
I'm their aunt.
All right, and which parent are you related to?
What do you mean?
Which of their parents are you related to?
Oh, the mother. The
All
mother.
right. And now have you talked with your sister about this case at all?
Yeah, she was with me at the beginning of it. She lived with me at the beginning of it and then moved out. And then, I mean, we had we talked.
Okay. And so is it fair to say you're familiar with the family and you have a little bit of knowledge about what's been going on in the case?
Correct.
All right. And so when you talked about her living with you at some point, about what time was she living with you?
She moved in maybe 2023, maybe December, and moved out maybe in July the next year.
Okay.
Or maybe January of 2024, but moved out in July. So maybe like 6-7 months.
Okay. And after that, I mean, do you know where she moved to?
We live in a community, so there's like different homes, and she moved to one of them behind me.
All right. And so, I guess at that point during the case, were you in any way kind of helping your sister try to fulfill her services and get the boys back?
Yeah, I would take her to every appointment she needed. I would help her provide for whatever she needed for the boys. I was basically her stability. Like, she lived here. She paid, I think, maybe 2 bills, but we would make sure that she would get to where she needed to be. She had her visits here as well. So.
Okay. And so at what point, I mean, and do you recall, or let me ask you, at some point was she able to get the boys back in her home?
She got them when she moved out, I believe. Maybe not long after she moved out, she got them.
Okay. And were you still involved in helping out with the family at that time?
Yes, I was.
And what were you doing to help your sister and the boys?
Again, if she needed a ride, we would give her a ride. I would help her take the boys to daycare. One would come and stay with us for the whole period of time she had them back. That way it wasn't too much for her.
Can I ask you which of the boys was staying with you?
Elijah, he stayed with us.
And Elijah's the younger one, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Nehemiah would just come, like if we were to go fishing or anything or whatever, but I would call her or text her, make sure that he had lunch for daycare. And if he didn't, or she hadn't made it, then I would offer to make it.
Okay. And you said you had Elijah for that whole time, so it wasn't too much. I mean, what conversation did you have with Ignacia that led to you having Elijah?
She'd claimed that she didn't love him as much as she loved the other child. So we took him in. She said that she couldn't handle him. So we took him in.
And I mean, at that point, when you had that initial conversation, did you reach out to the CPS caseworker or anybody to tell them about that?
I did not. I had helped her get the boys back. So I did whatever I needed to do on my part to get the boys back. Nehemiah also had been a part of our life for so long.
Responsive.
Overruled.
Nehemiah had also been a part of our life for a period of time as well, without the mother being present. So we were helping her as much as we can. That way we can keep them close to us as much as we can. So I did not reach out to a CPS worker.
What was your concern at that point, if you had told CPS what was going on?
That you guys would remove them again from us and I wouldn't be able to see them.
Okay. What led you to finally telling CPS what was going on?
We would still leave them at home alone. She would still pass out drunk. There was an occasion where we had went over. I couldn't call. She wouldn't answer her phone. So I had sent one of my teenagers to her home to go and see if Nehemiah wanted to go with us fishing. And she was passed out on the couch, drunk, asleep. And Nehemiah was running around. So we just took him with us. Later, when she woke up, of course, she called me and she knew that he was with us. It was just a cycle of her still doing the same thing. We had incidents where we went to her and my other daughter went to a appointment, Elijah's 1-year checkup, and she was intoxicated as well at the doctor's. And so she was just
object to hearsay unless she was present. She said the daughter took her, so I'm not sure if she was there or not.
Were you there, Ms. Gomez?
no, sir.
Okay, sustained.
And let me ask you, Ms. Gomez, at any point did you talk to your sister about her being intoxicated at that appointment?
I did. Yes.
And what did she say in response to you confronting her about that?
She had actually reached out to me by text while they were at the appointment. And she said that they were arguing in there. And Emery was sending me messages as well, that she had been, intoxicated. We know
Objection, hearsay, Your Honor.
Sustained.
And specifically, Miss Gomez, I just want to know what your sister was saying. So what was she saying?
She never said she was drinking. I didn't see her until after the appointment.
And what did you observe after the appointment?
That she was intoxicated.
All right. And I mean, about how many times after the boys had been returned to her did you personally observe her being intoxicated?
Maybe every other day.
And so, how many times did you have to step in and just take Nehemiah from her to keep him safe?
I want to say that was the only time because she didn't have them back for very long.
Okay. Now, were there any other incidents that occurred where the police were called out during that time frame in which she had the children back?
I think there was one where she had called the police, yes, and I had called the police.
Were you present for the initial incident that had occurred?
Yeah, yes, and this time, I believe, it was an altercation about being upset about we had threw the youngest boy a birthday party. She got upset about that. It was his birthday, and I believe the cops were called over us arguing, and we went over to her house, and I believe the cops were being called on us, and we called them as well. She had my teenage son as well in there in her home, so she called Gloria, and Gloria came and picked up the boys, and Jonathan was also getting dropped off or already there. I don't recall which one it was.
Okay, and so after, I guess, that incident, did your sister let you see the children while they were with her again, or were they ever with her again, to your knowledge?
No, I believe they went back with Gloria, and she put a stop to me seeing them. She got upset with me, so she put a stop to me seeing them.
And you say she got upset. Was that your sister or Gloria?
It was my sister. They went back with Gloria, I believe.
And what sort of relationship have you had with Gloria throughout the case?
We reach out to Gloria just about every day. If Gloria allows us to see the boys, we pick them up. We see them just whenever it's convenient for us or them or Gloria. We get to hang out with the boys as much as she lets us and allows us. We go to the daycare functions, whatever they got going on. Basically, we're involved in their life.
And does Gloria engage with you all and let the boys go to family events so that they can see extended family?
Yes, ma'am. There's also another sister that the boys also have. It's an older sister. And then they have a niece as well. She just turned 1. So when they're also with me, because I also have raised her, which is my sister's oldest daughter. I've also raised her. When she's in town, I ask for the boys as well, and they're able to still see them. They also have an older brother named Montero. He as well, if he has games or whatever, we go to that, and if we can take the boys go.
Okay, and so when you say your sister and you're talking about these children, are these all Ignacia's children?
Yes, ma'am.
Do any of those children live with Ignacia?
No, Antero was also taken away from CPS, and I believe she didn't finish
I'm going to
the.
object to hearsay, Your Honor, and speculation.
She knows from her sister. Well, did your sister tell you why she doesn't have custody of any of the children?
Yes, she gave up. She told me she gave up the plan that they had given her. She gave it up and she left the boy with the dad.
Okay, Ms.
Which
Wildman,
is-
I'm going to interrupt for a second. Next time, let me rule before
Oh,
you.
I'm sorry,
correct
Judge.
me.
I apologize. And so it sounds like at least with Gloria, the children have been able to still have this connection with their older siblings through you.
Correct.
Now, have you had much contact with your sister since the children were re-removed from your sister back in November?
No, no. They called me from a incident at a bar and asked me to come and remove her from the bar.
I'm going to object
And
to
to
hearsay again.
Okay,
It's the
well,
same. Unless it's the mother that called you, then that's hearsay. You can't testify to what anybody other than a party says to you, ma'am.
No, I haven't had contact with her.
okay. And so you haven't seen her in person since November of 2024?
In person, maybe just walking around the neighborhood, but other than that, no.
Okay. Do you have any ongoing concerns at this point about the children being returned to your sister?
Concerns would always be the issue, yes. It's been multiple times that she hasn't taken care of them. So it's been a cycle with the first kid, and this is her fifth one. So yes.
All right, I'll pass the witness, Judge.
All right. Ms. Gomez, I want to be sure I understood you correctly. The incident where supposedly she was intoxicated at Nehemiah's doctor's appointment, did you say that was for his 1-year checkup?
It was for Elijah's 1-year checkup. It was
Elijah's.
Yes,
Okay.
it was on it, but Nehemiah as well had a checkup
Okay,
as well. So they
let me ask you another. So that would have been sometime around the 1st of November of 2024.
it was actually October. It was his first year birthday, so it was October 2nd or 1st,
Okay, well, I show his birthday
2024.
4. All
Yes,
right.
was that exact date it was the appointment.
All right. So now my next question is this: you testified to the time when you went over and she was passed out and you took Nehemiah. Was that before this 1-year checkup incident or after?
It was before.
Before? Okay.
Yes.
All right. Thank you. Ms. Lucero?
Your Honor, at first I'd like to ask Ms. Gomez, I believe there's someone there sitting with her, and I'm not sure who that person is.
It's
Somebody
my
did-
daughter.
So, Ms. Lucero, what's the problem?
Well, it just seems like sometimes she'll look over to whoever was sitting there for, like, if she doesn't remember a date or an answer, she looks over there.
I do remember dates. I would just have to, look on my phone, but it's.
Well,
I don't want to be
let's
disrespectful.
just cut to the chase, Ms. Gomez. Nobody can help you with your testimony. So if you're looking to her for any kind of help, just don't do it. Or I'll have to ask that she leave the room.
Okay.
Go ahead, Ms. Lucero.
All right. Ms. Gomez, whenever Ignacia got the boys back the first time, do you recall that she was working at Allsup's?
Correct.
Okay, and were her hours, if you recall, from 2 to 10 pretty much every day, or she worked quite a bit, wouldn't you agree?
I didn't make her schedule, so I don't know.
Well, I mean, you live right there. You say you're always around
I
the
wasn't.
kids. So you don't know what her schedule was?
I don't know. No, ma'am.
Okay. All right. Now you're telling this court that Ignacia kept leaving which child with you because she couldn't handle him. Which child? I just want to be clear on that.
Elijah.
Okay. And then, now, when was the last time that you even had a conversation with Ignacia?
I don't remember.
Okay. So if she cut off contact in November, you said really maybe you've seen her in the neighborhood. You haven't talked to her in quite a while, right?
Since then, correct?
Okay. So now we're what, 8 months in, or 8 months after that fact, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So you have no idea what Ignacia's been up to. You don't know if Ignacia's if she's been
I do
taking care
not.
of the kids. Okay. All right.
Y'all
Now,
quit talking over each other.
okay. Now, was the department, you stated that you helped Ignacia when she had the kids, right?
Correct.
Okay, and then now with Gloria, or I'm sorry, Miss Rodriguez, you go and pick up the kids and you take them wherever or just back to your home to hang out. Is that right?
Correct.
Okay, and Miss Hooper or whoever is over at the department, they're aware that you're picking up the kids and spending time with them, right?
Does Lisa know? Is that what you're asking me?
Yeah. I mean, does anybody? Well, the department knows.
Correct. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And then did the department? Were you someone that they checked on and made sure that you were a proper person to be transporting the kids and hanging out with the kids? They told you yes.
Yes, Lisa herself told me yes.
Okay. All right then. Now, whenever this case started, you had been arrested for DWI felony third out of Hutchinson County, correct?
October 2023. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right. And so, check this. Okay. All right. Then, and then this case started in November of 2023. I mean, do you
Correct.
recall that? All right. So by that time, okay. And so but you didn't plea out on this case until just a few months ago well, not a few months ago, in January of this year, correct?
Correct.
All right. And then the entire time that your case was pending, you were required to have a guardian interlock device. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. And then now you pled to a third degree felony, DWI third or more, or third. And under that, you're going to be on probation for 5 years. Is that correct?
Correct. Yes. But what is my history having to do with boys?
Excuse me. You don't get to ask questions. You answer questions.
Okay.
Okay.
Your
And
Honor,
then-
I would object to this line of questioning as to relevance.
Overrule.
Miss Gomez, and then and under this probation that you're on, you're still required to have a guardian interlock device, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Has the department, Miss Hooper, or anybody from the department came out to look at your vehicle to make sure that guardian interlock device is in your vehicle?
Okay, now I will say this is
Okay.
irrelevant.
Your Honor, if I may.
No, ma'am. It's
Okay.
irrelevant as to whether or not she has an interlock device or not.
Okay. All right. Let me ask you this. Is the department aware that you're on probation for a third degree felony DWI?
Yes, ma'am. I sent her the paperwork as well.
Okay. And as far as you know, they gave you the okay to transport the kids back and forth and visit with them, correct?
She has changed her mind, but I have a daughter that has her driver's license. We have provided that to her, so that is who does the transportation.
Okay. And when did do you recall, Ms. Gomez?
You would
when
have
did
to
you change
ask
your mind?
Lisa.
Well, I'm asking you because you said she changed it. So when did you provide your information to her?
Let me look the exact date. I want to say it was about 2 months ago.
2 months ago.
Yes, ma'am.
But prior to that time, they hadn't had any restrictions on you, correct?
She had not. No.
Okay. Now, you talked about your teenage son. Did that teenage son at one point he was living with Ignacia, isn't that correct? Or staying over there a lot?
3 weeks to be exact.
Okay. And then when isn't it true that when you asked him to leave, that's when yours and Ignacia's relationship fell apart?
She asked him to leave, but yes, correct.
Okay. So then she asked him to leave. Your relationship with Ignacia fell apart, and that's when you started reporting her to CPS. Isn't that correct?
I never reported her to CPS.
you never reached out to Lisa that you were concerned about Ignacia?
Oh, yes, correct. I did.
Okay.
But
Okay.
I believe our fallout was I had a birthday party for her son and she claimed she wasn't invited to it.
So my question is, your reports to Lisa or anybody at CPS regarding your concerns for the children, you didn't bring those to their attention until you and she had a falling out, whether it be regarding your son or the birthday party, right?
No, ma'am. There was other times I did reach out to Lisa that I was concerned
Okay.
that I needed to speak with her. Yes, ma'am. I have
Okay.
messages as well reaching out to Lisa.
Okay. How many times did you reach out to Lisa prior to your falling out with Ignacia?
1 or 2 times.
And the kids at that point still remained with Ignacia, correct?
They were already with. One time they were with Ignacia and another time they were with Gloria.
Okay. I'll pass the witness.
Ms. Mullinex,
No questions.
Ms. Rudd.
Ms. Gomez, how many total children has your sister had?
5.
And how many of them has she raised?
None of them.
And is the problem that got the very first one removed from her the same as the problem she has today?
What alcohol and drugs? I don't.
Your Honor.
I'm sorry, what?
I'm going to object to speculation. I mean, unless she has knowledge or.
Yeah, it's sustained. There's no predicate for that.
Okay. When her first child was removed from her, were you involved in your sister's life at that point in time?
Correct. They gave me her child then as well.
And did you go to the court hearings and did you talk to your sister about the problems as to why that child was placed with you?
We didn't have any court hearings. It was kind of, she was already going into her teenage years where it was like 16, 17. So it was her final, they just left her with me and that was it.
Did you talk to Ignacia about what was going on and why that child was removed from her?
No, ma'am, not then.
You weren't talking to Ignacia at that point in time?
No, ma'am.
Did her daughter have health problems that you had to deal with?
She did. Yes, ma'am.
And what were those health problems that you had to deal with?
Objection relevance to a child that's not even involved in this case, Your Honor.
Sustained.
Your Honor. Okay. So how old, just for a time reference, how old is her oldest daughter?
23. 23, correct.
And over the last 23 years, would it be fair to say that Ignacia has struggled with drug and alcohol addiction?
Yes, ma'am.
Over that 23-year period, have you ever seen Ignacia go an extended period of time without drinking or doing drugs?
No, ma'am.
To the best of your knowledge, is she alcohol and drug free now?
No, she's not.
Your Honor, I'm going to object to that. I mean, she stated she hadn't seen her in 8 months.
Sustained. Ma'am, unless you can, Ms. Rudd, unless you can ask her some questions to lay the predicate. She's already said she hasn't seen her in quite some time.
Okay, let me back up. Do you, when you were talking to her, did you see a continuous pattern of drug and alcohol abuse?
Drug, no. Alcohol every day.
And alcohol is not illegal and is not being tested for, correct?
Correct.
I'm going to object to that, Your Honor. The fact's not an evidence.
Sustained. I don't know if it is or not. We haven't gotten to those exhibits yet. Do you believe
if Nehemiah and Elijah were returned to Ignacia today, do you believe that their health and safety would be in danger?
I'm going to object
Yes.
to speculation, Your Honor.
Based solely on what you know, Ms. Gomez, no speculation, just what you've seen. If you can answer it based on that, you can answer it. If you're guessing or speculating, you can't answer it.
Then I wouldn't know.
Let me ask you this. Would you allow your child, Ignacia, to care for your child?
No, ma'am.
Why not?
They would be in danger.
I'll pass the witness.
Ms. Naranjo?
Thank you, Your Honor. Ms. Gomez, you testified that you were around Ms. Casillas back when she got her children in September of 2024. Is that right?
Correct.
And you were present in her home with her and her 2 sons?
I would go over, or she would come over to my home.
And were you present when she was actively parenting her children?
Yes.
And how would you describe her parenting?
We had Elijah, so to Nehemiah, she was a fair mother.
And did you observe how she would parent Elijah at all?
Yes.
And did you have concerns regarding her parenting of Elijah?
Yes.
What concerns did you have?
She was just mean to him, just vicious, just didn't care for him. He would cry. She would say it'd get on her nerves. She just wasn't nice to him.
And how would you observe how she treated the older son, Nehemiah?
I'm sorry?
How did you observe how she treated Nehemiah?
She catered to him. Oh, Nemo, I brought you this from Allsubs, or come here and I brought you new shoes. And yes, ma'am.
And so observing those behaviors, is that why you would volunteer to care for Elijah?
Correct.
And would Miss Casillas ever object to it or ask you not to do that?
No.
I'll pass the witness.
Anyone else?
Your Honor, I do.
Okay.
Okay. Ms. Gomez, in one part of your testimony, you said that Ignacia was drinking every other day. Then you were asked later on by Ms. Rudd, and you said every day. Do you realize that you testified differently there?
She asked me when she was in my home. And in my home, she did drink. When she lived with me, she did drink every day. When she moved out, if I seen her like every other day, she was still, of course, drinking.
Okay. Now, when I was
in my home.
Okay. When she was not living in your home, you say, is that your testimony that she was drinking every other day?
No, ma'am, I can't tell you. I wasn't with her every day or every other day. I don't know what she was doing. She was living with me.
Okay. Now, you stated that Ms. Rudd asked you if you would feel safe to have your kids live with her. Is that any of your children live with Ignacia? Do you remember that question?
I made my son live with Ignacia.
No, that's not what I'm asking. What I'm asking you is you were asked if you would feel safe with your children, however many, I don't even know how many children you have, living with Ignacia or Ignacia taking care of them, and you said that you would feel that it would be unsafe. Do you remember saying that? Okay.
Correct.
However, there was a point in time that you let your teenage son live over there for 3 weeks. Yes or no?
He's 17. He's an adult, but he did live with her. Correct.
I'll pass the witness.
Anyone else?
Yes. Ms. Gomez, did you have concerns for your 17-year-old son's safety and welfare when he was living with Ignacia?
When I did have concerns, he was removed. He was asked to come back and live with me.
And that's the reason why he lived there for 3 weeks and not 3 months or 3 years.
Correct.
And that son was 17 and could run a telephone and make his own dinner and wash his own clothes and take care of himself, correct?
Correct. And that was the deal. The deal was for him not to bother her. He was basically renting the room from her, is basically what we agreed on.
I'll pass the witness.
Anyone else? Ms.
No.
Gomez, you may have answered this, but why did your son live with Ignacia for 3 weeks?
I have two other step girls with a previous relationship. So I have 5 girls. Each one has a bedroom here at the home. And when he came to live again with me, we didn't have a bedroom ready for him. We were going to prepare the garage to be his bedroom. So he stayed with her until then.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else?
Your Honor, just one follow-up. Ms. Gomez, your son was 17, you said, so he could take care of himself, and he was living with Ignacia for 3 weeks, correct?
Correct.
Okay, now you said when he came back to live with you, so where had he been living whenever he moved in with, he didn't, there wasn't room for him, so he went to go live with Ignacia. Where had he been?
With his father.
Okay, and how long had he been with his father?
A year. He did a school year with him.
Okay, all right, I'll pass the witness.
Anyone else? Ms. Gomez, do you have a fairly good relationship with Gloria Rodriguez?
Yes, sir.
Do you have any concerns about how she's caring for the children?
I do not.
Okay. All right. All right, then can Ms. Gomez be excused?
Please, sir.
Please.
All right,
Your
Ms.
Honor,
Gomez.
I'm not sure how this is going to develop, so there's a chance I may have to ask her to come back. I mean, she can leave and maybe we can reach out to her, but I'd ask that she not be excused at this time.
Ms. Gomez, are you going to be available by cell phone if someone calls you back?
Yeah, I can stay in the meeting if need to. I don't
Well,
have any.
you'll have to be placed back in the waiting room since you may have to testify again.
Okay, yeah, I can be reached by my phone.
And I don't know if everybody does somebody have her cell phone number in case Miss Lucera, if you need to call her again? Does anybody have that cell phone? We're on YouTube. I don't want to
Ms.
broadcast it.
Hooper
Gloria,
does,
do
and
you-
I believe we do,
Not
Judge.
everybody's talking at once.
The department does, Judge.
Does anybody have her cell phone number? All right, Miss Hooper saying she does. Okay, so Miss Hooper, if it becomes necessary, you can just send a chat to everyone and give that number out. So, okay. All right, Miss Gomez, thank you for your testimony. If
Your Honor,
you get
I apologize, but I'd ask that Ms. Gomez be instructed that she's not allowed to go on YouTube and watch this hearing since she may be called to retestify.
Yeah. Miss Gomez, this is being broadcast on YouTube under the Northern Panhandle Child Protection Court, but I'm ordering that you not go online and look at it.
All right, okay.
Okay, all right, thank you. And if the phone rings, please answer it.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you. I'll go ahead and release you. Okay. Does anybody need a quick break?
If we get a
Yes,
5
please.
Judge.
Oh, all right. And I'll let everybody know we're gonna, if we don't finish this by about 10 till 5, we're gonna recess it and come back again. So.
Yes, sir.
I
Okay,
only
we'll
have one more witness, Judge, so I
take
think
about a 5-minute break. All right, Ms. Wildman, you can call your next witness.
Thank you, Judge. I'm going to call Lisa Hooper, or the department will call Lisa Hooper. Are you
Okay.
familiar with them and their parents?
Yes.
How long have you been the caseworker on this case?
I think November of 2023.
Okay. So is it fair to say pretty much from the beginning?
Yes.
All right. And so, were you involved in preparing the family plans of service for the parents?
Yes.
And did you have the opportunity to go over those with the parents?
Yes.
Were you able to kind of get their input and work with them to kind of try and figure out what the family needed to work on?
Yes.
All right. And so, ultimately, did those family plans of service become an order of the court?
Yes.
And would that have been at the status hearing?
Yes.
Your Honor, the department would move at this time to admit Petitioner's Exhibit 5, which is a certified copy of the status hearing order with the attached family plans of service.
All right, objections?
No objection.
Petitioner's 5 submitted.
All right, thank you, Judge. Now, as far as I guess the plans of service go, let's talk about Mr. Rodriguez first. What sort of, I guess, communication have you had with Mr. Rodriguez throughout the life of this case?
I've had face-to-faces with him almost every month. Other than that, it's been text communication.
Have there been any issues with maintaining contact with him at any point?
Yes.
And what kind of issues?
There will be times that I text and to let him know I'm coming to Pampa and ask him what time he would be available, and he would not reply back, so I wouldn't know if he would be available or not.
And I mean, why do you have to go up there in Pampa to see him?
For my monthly face-to-faces with him and everyone in the case.
Okay, gotcha. And so at this point, is it fair to say everybody in this case has relocated up there to Pampa?
Yes.
All right, and they've all been there for quite a while now, right?
Yes.
All right, and so otherwise, what sort of progress, I guess, has he made on on all of those services that were in that family plan of service?
He has maintained a legal source of income throughout the case. He's kind of gone back and forth, but he has stayed employed throughout the whole case. He was able to, he's refrained from any criminal activity. He got his tickets paid off. He has maintained residency throughout the case. He has lived with his dad and stepmother. He has, throughout the case, for the most part, he has maintained regular supervised visits or unsupervised, whatever, with the boys. He completed 12 hours of parenting. Throughout the case, except for one hair follicle, he has been negative throughout the case. He has tested for me every month. He hasn't missed any test. He did complete a psychological evaluation. He did complete 6 sessions of counseling. We have not had face-to-face for every month. There's been a couple of months that I have not been able to contact him, or he wouldn't let me know when he was going to be home. And when I did go by, his father told me one time he was working on his probation, his community service. Excuse me.
All right. And Ms. Hooper, so at this point, what service has he not completed?
The BIP.
All right. And what was the reason for the BIP referral?
For the domestic violence in this case.
And so let me ask you, what has he told you about trying to get that BIP program completed?
I spoke with him week before last. And the most recent thing he told me was he said that he had found another BIP program that was $25 a session. He did not know how many programs, how many sessions there were, but he stated that he had hoped he could start that last week, so he would have it started for this court hearing.
And did he at any point give you the information for that program?
No.
At any point were you able to staff that to see if that would be an appropriate alternative?
No.
And so prior to this, what has he told you about getting that service completed?
He had he went to La Ronda, and when he finished, he told me that he was told he did not qualify for BIP, and so he did not have to take it.
Okay. And at that point, did he tell you about the fact that he had denied any domestic violence occurring during his BIP evaluation?
Yes.
So he told you that he told LaRonda that nothing had happened?
Well, no, he told me that he did not qualify for BIP through LaRonda. When I asked why, he said that she told him he did not qualify, and that means he didn't have to take BIP.
Okay.
I tried to give him the correct information, but he said no. He said that's what she told me, that I do not have to take BIP anymore.
Okay. And so, I guess maybe I asked a bad question. At that point, he didn't tell you that he had denied the domestic violence, correct?
No, he did not.
All right. And so did you take any efforts to try and encourage him to continue get that service completed, even though he was telling you he didn't have to do it?
Yes, every month when I visited with him, that was the main thing we discussed. He would say he may start the Apple Recovery, the virtual BIP, but he never did start it.
So he never provided any proof to you that he had started it, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And I mean, how many months would you say you've been trying to get him to get that service completed after his after his intake with Miss Houston?
Every month.
Okay. And to date, he still has not provided any proof that he has started any kind of program, correct?
Correct.
So he never followed up with you on this other program that he supposedly had found a couple weeks ago?
Right.
All right. And so what kind of concern, or does it raise any kind of concern for you or the department that he has not completed that program?
Yes, it does concern us because he has not taken accountability of the domestic violence, and he has not, and because of that, he has not attempted to finish that or even start the BIP. To my knowledge, he hasn't started it.
Is it concerning to you to have heard from Miss Houston that he denied any history of family violence during his BIP intake?
Yes.
Now, looking at states, let me bring it up, hang on. States Exhibit number 2, one of the dates of allegation in the indictment is January 2nd of 2022. And do you know how old Nehemiah is and what his birthday is?
He will be 4 in September.
Okay. And do you know and let's see, there was another date. Let me bring it up real quick. Apologize, my computer just froze up. One second, Judge. And
I apologize. He will be 3 in September.
Okay.
So I apologize for that.
And so, is that concerning that date is, I guess, or sorry, there's another date that was for May of 2021. Is it concerning to you that there were multiple dates outlining this history of domestic violence?
Yes.
Now, as far as the not taking responsibility and accountability, what is, or do you have concerns about the fact that there's this ongoing history of domestic violence and these children are this young?
My concern is that the children could witness or be a part of some kind of violence if they are around him, and the violence, domestic violence, has not been addressed or has not been even taken responsibility for, and the children could be part of that.
And and let me ask you, when you've talked to Mr. Rodriguez specifically about concerns about the domestic violence and getting that BIP class taken care of. I mean, what has his response to that been?
Well, and since he talked to LaRonda, or after he talked to LaRonda for 2 or 3 months, he stated that he did not have to take it because he was told he did not. And what was the rest of your question? I'm sorry.
I mean, I guess and I think what's his demeanor been about you trying to encourage him to do that or to take responsibility for that?
Defiant. He will give me information on a monthly basis, excuse me, regarding, what he's considering, what he's thinking about, but he has not put any effort in to start anything, to my knowledge.
Okay. And so at this point, is that the service that still sort of remains outstanding, and are those some of the reasons for the concern?
Yes.
If Mr. Rodriguez is unwilling to take responsibility and acknowledge the domestic violence concerns, do you believe that placing the children back with him or naming him as a managing conservator could significantly impair the children's physical health or emotional development?
Absolutely.
Do you have concerns about those children going back into a home where domestic violence has not been addressed?
Absolutely.
Now, have you been inside the home where he resides?
Yes.
What sort of setup is there for the children?
I have only been allowed in the first part of the house. It's like I have not been allowed from the kitchen back. It's like a small foyer, I guess I could say. It's just a small room, and that's where we have met on a monthly basis. So I cannot testify to what the rest of the house looks like.
Okay. And I mean, has Mr. Rodriguez not let you do that? Have his parents not let you do that? What, I guess,
there really hasn't been, I really haven't been told no. You cannot go back there. But every time I visit with Mr. Rodriguez, he would stay in that front foyer part.
Okay. Has he ever offered up to you any sort of plan if the children would return to him, or any sort of way to show that it would be appropriate for the children to be with him in that home?
He has not.
Okay. Now, has he at any point even expressed any sort of desire to the department to have the children living with him?
No, he has not.
Okay. Has he... Now, you said he's been involved sort of in his visitation. What sort of visitation is he currently having?
He has 4 hours of supervised visits per week.
And do you know who's supervising those?
I believe his father is supervising them.
Yeah. And they've been approved, correct?
Correct.
All right. And as far as any other updates, are there any other updates that we have about Mr. Rodriguez services or anything like that need to be covered right now?
No.
All right. Let's talk a little bit about Miss Cassius's services and sort of the efforts that we've made in reunifying the children with her.
Let me interrupt before we get off Dad. Ms. Super, I read in the report that he did not do counseling because he said he didn't think he needed it. Is that correct?
I think he did not continue any. He did not, I was wrong. He did do counseling, but he would not do any more. He said he didn't feel like he needed it.
Well, did he do his 6 that's recommended?
I believe so, yes.
Okay.
If I put that in the court report, I was wrong.
Okay, right. Okay, go ahead then. We can go on to Mom now.
And so at this point, are there any services that Ms. Cassius has not completed?
No.
All right. And in fact, has she done some additional services?
She has.
All right. And so as far as completing the services kind of the first time around, did the department ultimately end up placing the children back with her?
Yes.
And about when was that?
September 18th, I believe.
Okay.
September 30th, excuse me. I'm sorry.
And that was of 2024?
2024, yes.
All right. And initially, I mean, what was the department's belief on whether or not that would be successful?
We had complete hopes that it would be successful. We felt very positive that it would be. I don't think we would have placed the children there if we didn't feel that way.
And at that point, at some point, I guess, and you've heard the testimony of Miss Elia Gomez, I mean, twice now, at this hearing and at a previous hearing, were the concerns that she rose some of the reasons that the department began to rethink that reunification plan.
Yes.
Now, when you were, how many times would you say you went out to see the children while they were on that first initial reunification, or I guess not reunification, but placement with the mother?
I went out on a weekly basis.
Okay, and what sort of did you have any concerns initially when you were having those visits?
No.
When you went to meet with her, were her and the children both in her home or all in her home?
Yes.
Okay. And so at a certain point, I guess if it was the department, was it the department's decision or was it the court's decision? Do you recall that Mr. Rodriguez was allowed to kind of come help her a little bit to sort of manage having the boys back?
The court ordered that he could go back and help her, and so we went with that and was okay with Jonathan helping her with daycare while she was working.
Okay, and so initially, what was that looking like? What was going on in the home?
If Ignacia had to work, it was okay for Jonathan to kind of stay with the boys until Ignacia got off of work.
Okay. But he wasn't supposed to be living there, correct?
Correct.
And he wasn't supposed to be spending extra time there, correct?
Correct.
At that point, did he have his own separate visitation set up?
Yes.
And he was, to your knowledge, going along and doing that visitation, correct?
Yes.
All right. Based on some of those concerns that were risen, ultimately, did the children end up getting removed again?
Yes.
And at that point in September, October, November, before that second removal, Mr. Rodriguez hadn't done his BIP intake, correct?
Right.
But as far as we were concerned, he was cooperating and still engaging in services, right?
Yes.
All right. And so after all the allegations came out and the children were removed, what sort of additional services was Miss Cassius asked to do?
There wasn't additional services. She voluntarily continued counseling.
Okay.
But there was not additional services asked of her at that point.
Okay. And so did she continue that counseling?
Yes.
And I mean, to be fair, she continued that counseling for a while, didn't she?
She did. The only reason she stopped was because the counselor did not renew their contract with St. Francis Ministries. And that's been just maybe 2 months ago. So it hasn't been long. So she continued her counseling long past when she was required to.
All right. And so at a certain point, then let me kind of take a step back. And so at the first, give me a minute.
Ms. Super, while she's looking for whatever she's looking for, I don't know that I've heard, why were the kids removed from Ignacia once they were placed back with her in September?
The concerns were raised that she had left baby asleep while she went over, I believe, to her sister's house. So the child was left alone in the home.
But you mean Elijah?
Baby, yes. I'm sorry. The youngest.
Okay. Is that the only thing you can recall as to why that they were removed from her?
And I believe there was some alcohol drinking while both of the boys were there. just some unsafe parenting actions by
Okay,
her.
okay. Okay, go ahead, Ms. Wyman.
Thank you, Judge, and that's what I was kind of going back to. And so, at the permanency hearing in November on November 18th of 2024, were those issues raised with the court, and did the department then ask that the children go back to their grandmother's placement?
Yes.
All right, and then at that point, is that when the court sort of took a step back and asked that we kind of go back to I think we were at 4 hours of unsupervised visitation for the parents, and then made that order that Mr. Rodriguez not return to Ignacia's residence until he begun BIP?
Correct.
All right, and so that was in November of
Yes.
2024, and Your Honor,
2024.
the department would move to admit State's Exhibit 7, which would be the permanency hearing order from November 18th of 2024.
All right.
No
Objections?
objection.
No objection.
All right, petitioner 7 submitted.
All right, thank you, Judge. And so, after that, did Miss Cassius appear to be showing improvement again?
Yes.
And so, let's see, at a subsequent hearing on the 17th of March of this year, did the department recommend that we start working on increasing visitation with Miss Cassius in hope of placing the children back home and reunifying them again?
Yes.
And Your Honor, the department will move to admit petitioner's exhibit number 8 at this time, which would be the certified self-authenticating copy of that permanency hearing order.
From
No
3/7/25.
Yes, Your Honor.
Any objections?
None.
All right. Petitioner's 8 submitted.
All right, and in that order again, did it state that more specifically that Mr. Rodriguez would not be present for any of Ignacia's visitation with the children?
Yes.
All right, and so he was, at that point, again, had he made any progress towards completing BIP?
Not to my knowledge, no.
And so did the department start that step-up visitation schedule with Ignacia and the children?
Yes.
And what, I guess, kind of, how did that step-up order progress? What sort of increases did we have?
If I recall correctly, Ignacia, her work schedule at that time, she was off on Thursdays and then off on the weekend. And so she changed her off day to be Saturday and Sunday. So she would have time with them on Saturday and then time with them on Sunday. And then they would return. She would get the boys Saturday morning and then would keep them till around 6, I believe, Sunday evening, and then return them to Gloria.
Okay. And so when you were facilitating that, were you going out to the house to see her with the kids in the home?
I did every, yes, I'm sorry, I did. And then I had the unannounced visit, I believe, in May.
Okay. And so as far as you could tell from the initial start of this step up, did things seem to be going well?
Yes.
Did you talk with Ignacia specifically about this restriction that Jonathan was not supposed to be there during her visitation with the boys?
Yes, I reconfirmed it on multiple occasions.
And I mean, what was her response to that?
She said she knew and she understood.
And did she ever deny having him over there, or did she say she wasn't having him, she wasn't having contact? What did she say anything specific to that regard?
She said she understood that and that she was not having him there.
Okay. And so, what, I guess you mentioned the unannounced visit in May, and so, where did you go on that unannounced visit?
I went to Ignacia's home.
All right. And so when you first got there, what did you do?
I knocked on the door.
And did anybody come to the door?
No,
Could you hear anybody?
I could hear the children in there just making, talking or making sounds.
All right. And did you attempt to make contact with Ignacia in any other way?
I knocked several times. I called her name. I then texted her, letting her know that I was at her front door. She didn't respond. And so finally I called her. And this is probably within a 25-minute time period. And when I called her, or she called me, she said that she had to go to her work, get the deposit, and take the deposit to the bank. And that she would be back in just a moment, and that Jonathan was with the children in her home.
Okay. And so what, if any, concerns did you have standing there for 20 minutes not being able to get in touch with her?
I had the concerns that no one was answering the door when I heard the children in there. So I knew they were in there. And before she called, I didn't know who was with them. And then, and even after I found out who was with them, they still didn't open the door so I could see the children.
Okay. And would it have been a concern that you could hear the children and the children were potentially alone?
Yes, that was very concerning.
And had you not been able to get in touch with somebody, what was your next step?
I was ready to call the police for a welfare check.
And so when you talked to Ignacia and she told you that Jonathan was there, did you tell her that nobody was answering?
Yes.
And what did she say after that?
She said they were in the back of the house and didn't hear me. And I said, well, I heard the boys initially. And then it got quiet. And so if I heard them, they should have been able to hear me knocking really loud and saying her name. So.
And so at any point, did Jonathan come to the door? The boys come to the door? Did anybody come to the door?
No.
Did Miss Casillas ever come back to the residence?
Yes, about 5 or 6 minutes later, she showed up.
Okay. Was she with anybody?
She was with one of her approved transporters for the boys. It's a gentleman that I believe she works with. He dropped her off.
Okay, and so when you finally were able to, I guess, make face-to-face contact with Ignacia, were you able to get into the house then?
Yes.
And were you able to see the boys?
Yes.
And was Jonathan there?
Yes.
And so did you talk with Ignacia any more about why this had happened?
I did. I told her, both of y'all know that he's not supposed to be here at your house when the children are here. And she again explained that she had to make money anytime she could and go to work. And she was told that she had to go get that deposit and take it to the bank for her work. So she didn't have a choice but to go do that.
Okay. And the person that she was with that dropped her off, that person had previously been approved to transport the boys and had previously transported the boys, correct?
Correct.
And so did you ask her why she didn't just take them with her?
This month, I did ask her that, and she did not have a response.
Okay. And she did not, and she didn't, I mean, did she explain why at either time, why Jonathan was the first call?
She did not.
Okay. I mean, does she have other potential people that she can reach out to in those sorts of situations as far as transportation or having watch the boys?
Yes.
In fact, was that part of one of the orders at one point that she kind of prepare a list of people that could help her out?
Yes. And she did.
Okay, and so there were other people she could have called besides Jonathan.
Your Honor, I'm going to object to speculation. We don't know what was going on that day, so I'm going to object to speculation.
Overrule.
And Ms. Hooper, you can respond to that question.
She did have, I think 3 or 4 people total that she had on the approved transportation list.
And one of them was with her that day.
Correct.
All right. And so, what was Jonathan's response to being found at the home?
I don't know if he had a particular response to being found. You know, he became angry. I think we all became angry because it was of the situation. He just stated that he wasn't doing anything wrong and the boys weren't in danger. The boys were okay. And he felt that he could, you know, be there because he wasn't doing anything wrong.
Now, were both of them, I mean, did you discuss with both of them and make them both aware that the court order specifically said that situation was not supposed to happen?
Yes.
And I mean, did they acknowledge that they understood that?
Yes.
And even after acknowledging that, did either of them in any way take responsibility for the fact that they had violated that court order?
No.
Does that raise any concerns for you or the department?
Yes.
And why is that?
The concerns would be that, again, the children could be a witness to potential domestic violence between the two. Concerns that both of them have been told multiple times what the stipulations were. They were court ordered. And concern was that this was the second time that Ignacia had not told us the truth about who was staying with her boys.
And so, do you have any concerns, especially after that incident, about the protectiveness of Ignacia towards the children?
Yes.
And why is that?
For her and Jonathan to be together when the children are there, the domestic violence has not been addressed, and no responsibility has been taken of that. It's just a concern that, like I said, the children could be a witness to domestic violence between the parents.
Do you know what's going on in the home when Ignacia has those boys and you're not present?
No.
After catching them violating the court order, did that in any way cause you concerns about what was going on when you weren't there?
Yes.
Can you be certain that Ignacia was following the court orders any of the other times she had the children?
Your Honor, I'm going to object to speculation.
Sustain.
Now initially, or I guess after this happened, in that hearing, or after that happened, did the court did we come back to court and request that the visitation be changed and that the children have supervised visitation again?
Yes.
And have the parents been following that order?
Yes.
And have the parents been getting their visitation as that change was made?
Yes. There was one weekend, I believe, Gloria was out of town and had transportation problems, some kind of vehicle problems. She was gone most of the weekend. But when I visited with Ignacia, she had been able to make up her 4 hours. And when I visited with Jonathan, I made it clear to him that he had the right to make up those 4 hours. And he would need to get with Gloria to schedule that whenever he could, even if it was an hour at a time. It was his right to be able to make up those hours. And he said he understood that.
Okay. Now, talking about the children and Gloria and the children have they been they've been placed with grandma this entire case, correct?
Correct.
And have you been out there to see the children with Gloria?
Yes.
And how are the children taken care of there?
They're taken care of very well. She's very good at taking care of the children, and when they get sick, getting them to the doctor or calling the doctor. So she does a very good job.
Is the home appropriate? Do they have a place to sleep?
Yes.
Do you have any concerns about them at this time in that placement?
No.
What is the recommendation of the department at this time?
That we grant Gloria PMC of the children.
And are we asking that the parents be named possessory?
Yes.
Now, is from your understanding, from being involved in this case, do the children have a relationship with their parents? Are they bonded to their parents?
I believe they have a relationship with them.
And at this point, would it be in the best interest of the children to terminate their parental rights at this point?
I do not believe so.
But do you believe that naming the parents managing conservators would significantly impair their physical health or emotional development?
Can you say that again, please?
Do you believe that naming them managing conservators would significantly impair their physical health or their emotional development?
Yes.
And is that because of these things that you've testified to and the things that you've observed?
Yes.
Do you necessarily have a specific recommendation as far as what kind of visitation we'd like to see for the parents?
I do not.
As far as the case is concerned, or do you have any other updates or any other things the court needs to be made aware of at this time?
No.
There's one other thing that I forgot to ask about. During the attempts to reunify with Ignacia Casillas the second time around, are you aware of a DFPS investigation that occurred during that time frame?
Yes.
And ultimately, were all of the allegations in that investigation ruled out?
Yes.
And so that didn't necessarily have an effect on the decision making to scale back visitation and stop those efforts to reunify, right?
No, it did not.
And then do you believe that the department did make reasonable efforts to try and reunify the children?
Yes.
At this point, kind of based on what you've observed and what you've already testified to, do you believe that sending the kids back to Ignacia a third time is in their best interest?
I do not.
I'll pass the witness, Judge.
All right. I'm going to take a quick break here and run get something off my printer. But Ms. Hooper, did you write the report for this final hearing when we started this?
Yes, sir.
Well, my notes from I don't have the actual report in my hand, but my notes was the recommendation from the department was to start a monitored return back to mother.
I think that was before that incident in May.
All right, give me just a second. I'm going to run get something off my printer. All right, let me pull one of the exhibits back up real quick. Okay, Ms. Hooper, I'm looking back at the permanency hearing order from March 17th. On page 7, It says 7.1, the court finds that unsupervised visitation between Nehemiah and Elijah and Jonathan Rodriguez is in the best interest of the children. So as of March 17th, he was allowed unsupervised visits, correct?
But then, Judge, at the next hearing, you ordered that he was not to be at the visits at Ignacia's house.
Judge, I think Lisa was trying to.
I'm getting around to that.
I think she was trying to answer your question. She's just on mute. That's all I was going to say.
I apologize. And Your Honor,
I'll talk and I can't hear any of you.
I say, Your Honor, procedurally, I believe that the court report was the final court report was filed before the incident at the unannounced visit in May. I believe we started the final hearing on this April 28th, right, if I'm remembering correctly. So that would explain.
That's not where I'm headed with this, Ms. Wildman. Let me get back to where I was. Again, I wish I'd have had these exhibits long before 15 minutes before we started the hearing.
Oh, and Judge, the change in orders was not one of the exhibits that I had presented. It was one of the things Ms. Hooper had testified to, is that
I don't want to hear that. Let me get back to where I was on the orders from March 17th. Okay, 7.1 says that as of March 17th, he could have, his best interest that he have unsupervised visits. Then the next hearing I show was, we started the final on May 19th.
There was a hearing June 6th, Your Honor, on the motion to modify the temporary visitation schedule.
Right, I'm looking at that now. You're trying to jump ahead of me. On the hearing, when we started the final on May 19th, there was nothing that changed that he had unsupervised visits.
Correct.
Yeah, then jump forward to 6-6 hearing. Then it went back to being supervised. So 6-6 is after the May incident. So my question, Ms. Hooper, is, you didn't say what date. You talked about this unannounced visit in May. You didn't say a date.
Look real quick.
Okay.
Apologize for not having the exact date, but I can look in my system. Maybe.
Well, that's unimportant. It was obviously before the June 6th hearing. Right. All right. So yes. This unannounced visit in May, Mr. Rodriguez could have unsupervised visits. The very next page in that order of March 17th said, it's ordered that Jonathan Rodriguez not be present for Ignacia Casillas' visitation with Nehemiah and Elijah. All right. So here's my problem with that. She got in a bind over her work, supposedly, so she called Dad to come over and watch the kids while she went and made that deposit. So at the biggest stretch you can make is from the time he got there and she left to go make that deposit. Yeah, maybe he was present during her period of visitation. But then she went and made the deposit. Was it your understanding that as soon as she came back, then he was going to leave?
She did not tell me.
Okay, so we're just speculating. So you see where I'm headed with this? Technically, I don't know that anybody violated the order, other than, like I said, maybe a minute or two before she left.
He wasn't supposed to be during her visitation. He was not supposed to be present.
But if he got there and she left immediately to go to the bank, then you could make a really good argument that he didn't violate it because she left. She left, so that was not part of her visitation. She wasn't there with the kids. Would you agree with me on that?
It's speculation because we do not know how long he was there before she left.
Yeah, well, we don't know that he wasn't either, then, do we?
Correct.
Okay. All right, that's the point I'm trying to make. We keep talking about it's just so clear that the order's been violated. I'm not so sure it was. So, okay, let's go on then, Miss Lucero.
Thank you, Your Honor. Ms. Hooper, you'd already gone over like the services that Ignacia had completed all her services in this case, correct?
Correct.
Okay, and then you said she did extra services. Besides the counseling, was there anything extra she did?
She did. There was and I do not remember the name of it now, but there was a support group there in Pampa that she went to. She did not provide me any proof that she went, but she went on a weekly basis. She stated she went on a weekly basis to this support group. So that would have been the additional services that she did.
Okay, and so would you agree with me that, okay, well, I'm gonna back up a little bit. Ignacia owes traffic tickets, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so she can't get her license right now, right?
Correct. Uh-huh.
But she has set up a support group that can take her to pick up her kids, bring her back home, take her to work, all that kind of stuff. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, and then also she uses public transportation. She's advised you of that, correct?
Yes.
Okay, and she has her own place to live. Is that right?
Correct.
And recently she moved from a 3-bedroom to a 2-bedroom to save money, right?
Correct.
And you've been out to that home, correct?
Yes.
Okay, and so there's room for the boys. Would you agree with me?
Yes.
And then whether the kids were visiting with Ignacia or they were placed with her, you visited her in that home, correct? In her homes, maybe she's
Yes.
moved, but okay. All right.
Yes.
And then I haven't ever read anything besides, of course, when y'all removed the kids, but I've never read any reports or gotten anything by email that that she hasn't taken care of those kids. Would you agree with me?
Yes.
Okay. So when you've seen them, they've been clean, they've been fed, they have a place to sleep, a place to play, all that stuff that a parent provides for their kids, right?
Correct.
Okay. And then when the kids we're gonna start that reunification plan, she even went out and asked to change her schedule so she could be there more for the boys. Is that right?
Correct.
Okay. Now, as far as there was allegations in the first removal that she was out drinking, that she left Elijah at home by himself. You recall saying, advising Judge Graham that was some of the reasons for the removal, correct?
Correct.
Okay. But there was it was just all based on allegations, correct? From either you never had any proof presented to you, or the department didn't have any proof presented to them that Elijah was in the home by himself, was there?
I believe there's a text conversation between Ignacia and her sister regarding that.
Okay. But was it presented at that first hearing?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I'm sorry, and I don't recall. I was in a different hearing. I stepped out. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then the sisters live beside each other. You've heard that. Do they live in that same community?
Yes.
Okay. All right. And so, and then as far as, all these allegations of Ignacia drinking and she's passed out and all those kind of things, Ignacia has tested negative or tested clean for 1.5 years for the department. Isn't that correct?
Correct.
And there's been testing done for alcohol use also, right?
Yes.
And do you know how, when someone takes an alcohol screen, how far it goes back? Do you know?
I want to say 24 hours.
Okay. And you heard her sister's testimony saying that she was drinking all the time, right?
Yes.
So if that was the case, wouldn't you agree with me that it's likely that she would have popped positive on one of those alcohol screens?
That's hard for me to say.
Okay.
I mean, I can't really answer that.
Okay. All right then. Now, as far as there was a point in time that the department, well, and the judge ordered it, but the department didn't oppose it for Mr. Rodriguez to have, unsupervised visits with the kids. And the judge already, I'm not going to go into all that again, but he was allowed to be in the home, right?
Right.
And help with the kids. Now, did you ever go by Ignacia's house during when the kids were placed back with her, or reunification, whichever time it was that Mr. Rodriguez was allowed in the home? Did you ever visit while he was watching the kids?
I do not recall ever visiting while he was there.
Okay. But again, you visited Ignacia quite a few times, right?
Yes, I did.
Okay. And while And so he was watching those kids while Ignacia was at work, and sometimes she worked long hours. Would you agree with me?
Yes.
Okay. And then Ignacia never made any outcries to you or stated anything that Mr. Rodriguez had, mistreated the children or anything like that. Isn't that true?
That's true.
Okay. So we can say that during the periods that Mr. Rodriguez and Ignacia were with the kids, that the kids, there were no safety concerns reported. Is that right?
Wow. Can you say that again, please?
Well, yeah, that wasn't a very good question. As far as you don't have any valid or any proof that either Ignacia or Jonathan Rodriguez has ever done anything to hurt the boys. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay. Now, you heard Ms. Gomez stated earlier that that the department was okay with her transporting the kids and her helping Gloria out or helping Ignacia out. And I'll be honest, I find that surprising just because dealing with other cases, that's usually not the situation. Do you know why, even though she was, on probation now, or had been arrested for third DWI, that y'all were okay with her doing that?
After we ran her.
I'm sorry. I'm going to object as to relevance.
Overruled. I've been wanting to ask this question all day long. So you can answer that question.
Okay. When it was brought to our attention that I was told she had been arrested for her third DWI, I ran her background check again. When I ran her background check, I sent it to my supervisor and asked her if this person could be transportation to the children, and she said no. And so that is when we stopped the transportation for Elia and the children.
Okay. And you heard her testimony that was about was that like a couple of months ago?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. But y'all run checks on anybody that's around the children. I mean, y'all ran checks on anybody that helped Miss Rodriguez, and anybody that helps Ignacia or Jonathan. Y'all run checks on everybody, right?
Yes.
Okay. So you found out a couple of months ago, but you heard me asking, when I was asking Miss Elia Gomez questions, that she was arrested for that DWI back in October of 2023, before this case even started.
Correct.
Okay.
Is that what you're asking?
Yes. So how is it that she was permitted to transport the kids up until 2 months ago?
I guess her background check was updated. So when I did her background check again a couple months ago, it was updated and it showed that DWI, and I don't know the legal verbiage on her background check, but it had been updated for that last DWI. And I emailed that background check to Elia so she would know what it said.
Okay. And how is it that you were decided to check again 2 months ago?
Because Ignacia mentioned it, and so I ran it again.
Okay. Now, we've talked a lot about, or you testified, and others have testified about Mr. Rodriguez not completing the BIT program, and you stated that would help alleviate concerns about any kind of domestic violence or things like that, correct?
Correct.
Would you agree with me that when parents are involved in a CPS case, that sometimes they'll attend couples counseling to also address how to get along, how to coexist, things like that?
Yes.
Okay. And when they do that and they complete some, the sessions, does that help alleviate concerns for the department?
Some of the concerns.
Okay. But otherwise, I mean, y'all wouldn't want them to do that if there weren't any type of concerns. Is that right?
Correct.
Okay. All right. And I might have missed it when you were testifying for Ms. Wildman, or testifying or responding. You're aware that Ignacia and Mr. Rodriguez completed 10 sessions of couples counseling. And the reason I asked, because I didn't see it in any of the reports. Were you aware of that?
I didn't know it was 10 because I know they did some. I don't remember it being 10 because that is when he told me he did not feel he needed to go to additional counseling. So
Okay.
I don't know if it was 10.
Okay. And we can ask on down the line, but you were aware that they at least attended some couples counseling, correct?
Yeah. A
Okay.
few counseling. I would need to double check the amount, but there was few.
Okay. And I believe earlier when you were testifying about counseling, it was my understanding that Mr. Rodriguez had stated that he didn't need any more. Y'all were specifically at that point talking about individual counseling. I didn't hear any mention of couples counseling at that point.
He told me he did not feel he needed any more counseling. The couples counseling that they had, he missed several sessions. Oh, I thought someone said something. I'm sorry. And that is when he told me he felt he did not need any more counseling. He was not specific to couples counseling, co-parenting counseling, or individual counseling.
And did you ask him specifically about that, or you just took it okay, all right. Now, as far as the allegations about against Ignacia about her drinking and things like that, did you ever go to her home and she opened the door to you, whether the kids were there or not, and she was drunk?
No.
Did you ever go over there and see any kind of beer bottles or beer cans laying around?
No.
Now, were you aware that during the pendency of this case that Ignacia has, through no fault of her own, has had quite a few missed visits with Elijah? Has she reported that to you?
Yes.
Okay. And did you advise her that was something that her and Gloria needed to work out to make up visits?
Yes.
Okay. And did she follow up with you and advise you that Gloria wouldn't respond to her request for makeup visits?
She said that she had not made the visits up yet. I do not recall her saying that Gloria had not responded.
Okay.
She has not had those visits made up yet.
Okay. Now, you were asked what the department is. Well, on May 14th, your report, I guess it was May 14th, your report was looking at, I guess, reunification or starting up a, what is it? Monitored attorney, I'm sorry. Okay. And then I guess 14 days later, y'all changed your mind and now want Miss Gloria Rodriguez to be managing conservator. Is that right?
Correct.
And the only thing that's changed is that y'all believe that the parents violated the court order on May 28th.
Correct.
Okay. So it has nothing to do with her behavior. I mean, besides that day, nothing else that she's done. She had done everything she could do, and y'all asked of her, but then that 28th day happened and y'all did a 180. Is that right?
Correct.
Okay. So you were asked if you wanted, as far as Ms. Rodriguez being named permanent managing conservator, you're saying that the parents shouldn't be named joint managing because it would significantly impair their physical health and emotional development. Is that right?
Can you ask that again, please?
Okay. Whenever Ms. Waldman asked you if that y'all aren't asking for the parents to be named managing conservators or joint managing conservators, and y'all are basing that on that the parents that if the kids go with one of the parents or both parents, it would significantly impair their physical health and emotional development. Do you recall saying that was it?
Yes.
Okay. And then Ms. Waldman asked you, is that based on your testimony today? And you said yes, of what's been presented today, right?
Yes.
Okay. And again, I'm sorry to continue to harp on this, but up until May 14th, y'all were good. We're unsure if the order was even violated on May 28th, but now you think that if the kids go with them, it's going to physically impair their physical health and emotional development. Is that right?
It also has her continued dishonesty throughout the case.
But up until May 14th, that wasn't an issue for y'all, right?
Because she was dishonest again after that last court hearing, the end of May, when I did that unannounced visit.
I'll pass the witness.
Ms. Mullinax?
Ms. Hooper, earlier you said that on the first monitored return, the judge approved Mr. Rodriguez babysitting the kids. Do you remember testifying to that?
Yes.
That's not actually true, correct?
Yes, he ordered it.
Okay,
He
so
ordered that.
hold on. The August 12th, 2024 permanency hearing, the court ordered at that hearing that each of the parents have unsupervised visits. Do you recall that?
Yes.
And then there wasn't another hearing until November of 2024. Would you agree?
Yes.
So sometime between August and November of 2024, the department or St. Francis made the decision to do a monitored return to Ignacia Casillas. Is that right?
Correct.
And that wasn't anything that this court ordered. That was something that St. Francis and the department decided to do, correct?
Correct.
So between August 12th of 2024 and November, I think maybe 19th or so, or 17th of 2024, there was not another court hearing. Would you agree?
Correct.
And during that time is when the department filed a motion to extend this case because of extenuating circumstances, which would have been a monitored return, correct?
Correct.
And so would you agree with me that if there was no other court hearing between August and November, it was St. Francis's determination to do the monitored return and allow Jonathan Rodriguez to to babysit the children?
The court ordered he was allowed.
What court order is that in, ma'am?
I'd have to look at them, but I know that the court ordered that he be allowed to help her with daycare.
Okay.
That's why we allowed her.
And so do you recall at that hearing in November when St. Francis was attempting to do a re-removal of the children, how the court heard that St. Francis was allowing Jonathan Rodriguez to babysit the children without having started BIP? He asked, you guys are doing this without him starting BIP? Do you remember that?
Yes.
And that was your decision to let him do that, even though you knew he had not started BIP, correct?
Because it was court ordered that he was able to.
And do you want to look and see if you can find that court order for me?
I'll let my lawyer.
Okay. Well, while that's happening, at the time of the re-removal, he had been keeping the children because he was allowed to do so, right?
Yes. Yes.
That re-removal had nothing to do with him. Is that right?
Correct.
And then in November after that, he was ordered not to be at the visitation, I think, during her visitation period. Is that right?
I believe so, yes.
Okay. And so he had unsupervised visits until, I believe, the judge asked you, up until June 6th, right?
Correct.
From the beginning of this case, at the very beginning, Ignacia made an allegation he tried to run her over. After that, were there any allegations that he had engaged in any kind of domestic violence with her?
Not since I've had the case, no.
Were there any new allegations that he had engaged in any other criminal activity other than being arrested for outstanding tickets?
No.
Any allegations that he had been arrested for anything else at all?
No.
And so until the court ordered that he could not return to her home until he started BIP, St. Francis had no problem whatsoever with him babysitting the children and having unsupervised visits, correct?
Because the court ordered it.
Objection, non-responsive, Your Honor.
Overruled.
And you said that the only thing that he has not completed is BIP, correct?
Correct.
You said specifically, and I believe this is a quote, that he hasn't put any effort to starting anything with regard to BIP, correct?
Correct.
He
Not to my knowledge.
Well,
Not that he invited me.
You know that he took the assessment, correct?
Yes.
You also know, do you not, that if somebody doesn't qualify for BIP, they cannot take BIP?
No.
Correct?
No.
You
I do not agree with that. No.
Well, you were present for the testimony of the BIP coordinator, correct?
Yes, I was.
And if he doesn't take responsibility, he doesn't qualify, so he can't take BIP, correct?
If he does not take responsibility, they will not provide BIP for him.
And you also had talked to him about taking the Apple Recovery Program, which I believe is maybe an online program. Is that right?
Correct.
And at that time, he could not take that program or engage in that program because Apple does not contract with St. Francis, correct?
That is not correct. He could still take it even though they weren't contracted with us.
So if he took Apple Recovery, he would have to pay for that, correct?
Correct.
And you didn't make any efforts to attempt to contract with Apple Recovery, so he didn't have to pay for it while he was working at Taco Bell, right?
We tried and tried to contract with Apple, and Apple did not communicate with us, so they would not contract.
And then you talked about Jonathan bringing up the week before last this other program. Did you talk to him about what program that was?
Yes, we had a discussion.
And so he told you the name of the program?
He did not.
All right. Did you tell him at that point it's too late anyway? He can't take it?
I did not.
You never told him that?
I did not.
You also said you were not able to staff to see if he could do it. Did you attempt to staff and say, hey, Jonathan Rodriguez has come up with a new program. Can we even do this?
No, I didn't have enough information.
So if he says, hey, I found another program, that's not enough information.
No, it's not.
And you said specifically earlier that you have concerns that if Ignacia and Jonathan are around each other, that the kids could be a witness to domestic violence. You weren't concerned about that back before he started BIP and was allowed to babysit the kids, were you?
Yes, I was still concerned, but the court ordered it.
And Your Honor, I'd request the court to take judicial notice of this file, specifically the permanency hearing orders in this case.
I will, but I can't find it either. I seem to recall that I ordered that, but I sure can't find it. In my notes, I haven't, again, I didn't get exhibits till 15 minutes before we started. So obviously I haven't been able to look through every permanency order that's been entered as evidence today. So that's all I'll say about that.
And Ms. Hooper, you were asked about Ignacia and Jonathan taking part in couples counseling. You remember that question?
Yes.
You've never brought that up to the court that they were engaging in couples counseling, have you?
Not that I recall.
Why not?
Because I do not recall how many sessions they had, because Jonathan did not show up for a majority. And Ignacia would go ahead and do the counseling sessions, even though Jonathan did not show up. So I'm not positive if they got any done.
So you don't think it was important to let this court know that they were either ordered or agreed to do couples counseling if they were going to be together or co-parenting?
I should have put that in the court report.
What efforts have you made to return the children to Jonathan Rodriguez?
I have offered him all the services on his family plan.
I'd pass the witness.
Ms. Rudd?
Ms. Hooper, is it true that from March on, you were getting reports from various sources that Ignacia was not doing what she was supposed to be doing, and she was letting Jonathan come over, and you had no positive proof of that? Is that correct?
That's correct.
And during the entire case, isn't it true that that May unannounced visit was basically your first unannounced visit since Ignacia had gotten the kids back?
No, I did several unannounced with Ignacia throughout the case.
So since November?
Yes.
And how many would you say? How many unannounced visits did you do?
Throughout the case, I would say at least 3 or 4.
Okay. But isn't it true that some of those allegations made were that she were taking the kids to a bar, but she said she wasn't drinking, correct?
Your Honor, I want to object if that's not an evidence.
I think it was from the first hearing
Oh, okay.
when we started this. I recall that statement.
Okay.
So
Yes. But
Can
you
you ask
didn't have any. Go ahead.
Can you ask that again, please?
Isn't it true that some of the allegations that were being made were, for example, that she took the kids to a bar, but that Ignacia justified it by saying, well, I took them to the bar, but it was a fundraiser and I wasn't drinking.
Right.
And other allegations that Jonathan had been staying with her, but again, you didn't catch him.
Correct.
So is that why from March to May, because you didn't have any solid proof that they were not doing what they were supposed to, you continued with the plan of reunification?
Correct.
But you had reports coming not just from Gloria, but from several sources. Isn't that true?
No.
No, they were only from Gloria?
No, they weren't only from Gloria, but there were several. It was her and Elia were the only two.
Right. But her and Elia were both reporting that Ignacia was not doing what she was supposed to be doing and that she was drinking.
I take that back. The information that I got from Elia was from when they were placed with Ignacia back in 2024. From that first time that we placed with them and then we removed them. That's when I got information from Elia. I apologize.
Okay. But then you actually caught them not doing what they were supposed to do. Is that correct?
In May, yes. Is that what you're asking?
Yes. But the point I'm trying to make, or the question I'm trying to get answered is, I believe the judge and Miss Lucera were basically insinuating that that Jonathan watching the kids was the only reason that you just flipped. Isn't it true that you had lots of suspicions, but no proof until you actually caught him there?
Correct.
Okay. So although that one episode was the proof that you had been getting reports that were unproven, but getting reports, hey, Jonathan's staying over there. Hey, she's drinking. Hey, this is going on. But she denied them and you didn't have any proof, correct?
Correct.
So that's why when you did get proof, you actually took action.
Correct.
Okay. And isn't it true that part of the problem has been, even though Ignacia has been denying all of these allegations all along, she has a long history of just telling the department what they want to hear, whether it's true or not, to do whatever she needs to do to get her
I'm going to
kids
object to
back.
leading. I apologize.
Your Honor, she's not
All
my
right.
witness. I can.
Yeah, y'all were both talking. I didn't even hear the objection.
I had said objection leading, but it wasn't her witness, so I apologize, Your Honor.
Go ahead, Ms. Rudd.
Isn't it true that another part of the problem is that basically because Ignacia has a long history of telling the department what they want to hear and then doing whatever she wants to do, that basically you don't believe her excuses anymore because of her dishonesty?
Right.
And isn't it true that Ignacia has told more than one person that she really just wants Nehemiah and she doesn't really care about Elijah?
Subject to speculation.
Overruled. She's either heard it or she hasn't. But unless it's hearsay.
Well,
Objection hearsay, Your Honor.
Well, Ms. Hooper, have you heard from either parent that she doesn't want Elijah, she just wants Nehemiah?
She has not told me that directly.
Okay, then that would be hearsay, so sustained.
I'll pass the witness.
All right. Ms. Naranjo.
Thank you, Your Honor. I know the court took judicial notice of the permanency hearings, and I was reviewing those to help clear up the record. And it looked to me like back in August 13th of 2024, there was a order from the court. I believe it's on page 7, on number 7, visitation plan for Jonathan Rodriguez. It does order there that his visitation is unsupervised. I would assume that would mean that there was nothing about the BIP at that point, but the BIP was introduced at the following order that happened in November, I believe.
Yeah, November 18.
Yes, Your Honor. That one says that he was not to be present at Ms. Casillas' residence until he initiates the
Correct.
bid.
Yeah, and I guess that's what she meant when she kept saying the court ordered it, the court ordered it. So thank you for that. I see that now in my notes. I couldn't find it in the reports. They're so lengthy and I didn't have any time to look at them.
Not a problem, Your Honor. I also wasn't Mr. Ingram was still the attorney ad litem at that time, so that's why I wasn't aware of it, but hopefully that clears that up.
Thank you for doing due diligence. Go ahead.
Thank you, Your Honor. Ms. Hooper, are you aware if part of Mr. Rodriguez's conditions of probation, if he's allowed to have contact with Ms. Casillas?
I'm not aware of his probation restrictions or.
Are you aware as part of his probation that he's court-ordered to complete the batterer's intervention and prevention program?
I am aware of that.
Your Honor, I believe best evidence would be the order requiring that.
I'm sorry, what was your objection?
I'd object to speculation and best evidence because the order requiring that should be entered into evidence and not testimony from someone that's not his probation officer.
I believe it is. I've looked
I
at it.
spoke to the
Your
probation
Honor,
officer.
it's been entered into this.
All right, everybody's just talking. I'm sorry, I can't.
It has not been entered into this hearing, Your Honor, and I believe it has to be in this hearing to be admissible.
I'm looking for it. I believe it is. I believe I saw it today in the exhibits that have been admitted. But again, and that's going to be a new rule. From now on, exhibits are going to be exchanged a minimum of 3 days before any hearings, or I'm not going to let any of them in. So give me a minute. Y'all can go ahead and keep asking questions. I'm going to see if I can't find that.
Ms. Hooper, when exactly were the children placed with Ms. Gloria Rodriguez?
When? Is that what you said? At the very beginning of the case, November, when I came in the case, it was November of 2023.
So other than the time when the children were placed back, I believe back in September of 2024, Ms. Rodriguez has basically had the children continuously for almost 3 years now.
Correct.
And regarding the department said that their position was that Ms. Rodriguez needs to be named permanent managing conservator. What is the department's position on child support and medical support?
We haven't really staffed that with the attorney, so I don't want to answer it and answer wrong. It'd be standard child support.
So you would be asking for child support for both Mr. Rodriguez and for Ms. Casillas to pay to Ms. Gloria Rodriguez?
Yes, ma'am. It's just standard child support.
Based on minimum wage?
Yes, ma'am.
And what health insurance are the children going to be under if they're placed with if they remain with Ms. Rodriguez?
They would be on Medicaid.
And
Yeah.
would you also be requesting that Mr. Rodriguez and Ms. Casillas pay for that Medicaid?
I believe it's a state offered. I don't think there would be a
They
cost.
could reimburse the state.
Oh, yes. I'm so sorry.
And would you ask that they reimburse the state at about $25 a month each?
Yes.
Now, regarding that incident that occurred back in May when you made that unannounced visit, did the parents seem to understand that they had violated the court order?
Yes, they both said they were aware.
And so that was basically your understanding and the department's understanding that the parents' understanding and your understanding that the court order had been violated.
Correct.
And then that was brought up at the hearing that was to change the parents' visitation, correct?
Yes.
And at that hearing, the court ordered that parents were to go back to having supervised visitation due to what happened.
Correct.
I'll pass the witness.
All right. I heard that 4-letter word, staff. Back to Petitioner's Exhibit 3, the order of deferred adjudication under terms of plea bargain. It says defendant must attend and complete BIP program as part of probation, 3 years deferred. So I knew I'd seen that. Okay, anyone have further questions for Ms. Hooper? We'll start with Ms. Wildman.
Just briefly, Judge, Ms. Hooper, if the court order does not specifically state he could help with daycare transportation, but he was allowed to be having unsupervised visitation at the time that that was happening, would that give the department any concern for having that daycare assistance happening if he was already on unsupervised visitation?
Can you say that again? That confused me.
If the court order does not specifically state he could help with transportation for daycare and things like that, but does state he's allowed to have unsupervised visitation, would that be consistent with him being allowed to help out in those situations?
Yes.
I'll pass the witness, Judge.
All right. Ms. Lucero, any follow-ups?
Yes, Your Honor. Ms. Hooper, you were asked by Ms. Rudd about Ignacia having a long history of being dishonest with the department. Do you recall that?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, now we know that when the department first became involved back in 2023, I guess Ms. Casillas or Ignacia, at that point, she wasn't compliant. Would you agree with me?
Yes.
Okay, but would you agree with me that sometimes in many cases, and we're thankful for it, when parents step up and start doing what they're supposed to? I mean, that's why CPS becomes involved, to help parents get it together. Would you agree with me?
Yes.
Okay, so your dealings with Ignacia, since you took the case over and you heard what the prior investigator said, there's been a big change in Ignacia. Wouldn't you agree with me?
There's been a change.
Okay, I mean, back then she wasn't following a service plan, apparently, from what they stated. You know, she wasn't doing what she was supposed to. But during this case, and setting aside, okay, where, you know, the May 28th, just the recent issue, I mean, she's done everything y'all have asked her to do. She's asked to do different, additional services. So that's, when you agree with me, that's a big change from back in, I guess, October, November of 2023, right?
Yes.
Okay. Now, as far as, and I might have misheard this, we were asked how long the kids had been placed. And I think Ms. Naranjo, and I may have heard her wrong, she said they'd been with Gloria for about 3 years, but they were actually placed with Gloria, or I'm sorry, Ms. Rodriguez in November of 2023, correct?
Correct.
So it's been about 1.5 years, right?
Yes.
And it's been a little over 1.5 years because due to my schedule and another attorney's schedule, we've had to kind of set this case off a couple of months. Would you agree with me?
Yes, ma'am.
I'll pass the witness.
All right, Ms. Mellanax.
Well, Ms. Lucero got one of my questions, so I just have one other issue. You said a minute ago that the parents were aware that they violated a court order in May of 2025, correct?
Yes.
Earlier, you testified that Jonathan became angry because he said he wasn't doing anything wrong. Do you remember that testimony?
Yes.
Pass the witness.
All right, Ms. Rudd.
Was Jonathan present at the hearing when the judge said Jonathan can have some unsupervised visitation, but he can't be around Ignacia when she's got her visits? Was Jonathan present in the courtroom when the judge said that?
Yes.
Or present on the Zoom meeting? I guess we don't have actual courtrooms. So he was aware of that.
Right.
And is that the reason why he didn't answer the door?
I believe so.
Speculation.
Speculation, Your Honor.
Just saying.
Did he tell you why he didn't answer the door?
He did not.
Did Ignacia tell you why no one answered the door?
She said that they were in the back of the house and he probably did not hear me.
But you could hear the children playing.
Correct.
Was he upset because he didn't know that he violated the court order, or was he upset because he didn't think the court order had any purpose?
Objection, speculation.
Just saying.
Speculation.
Earlier, Miss Mullinax asked you, isn't it true that neither parent has ever hurt the boys? They've never actually physically harmed them, but wouldn't you agree that both parents have put the children in dangerous situations where harm could have come to them, where harm was foreseeable?
And Your Honor, I'm going to object to that because I've never asked that question in this hearing.
Then she can ask it.
Okay. Wouldn't you agree that the boys, that both parents have put the children in situations where they could have gotten hurt?
Yes.
They never actually hurt them. They didn't beat the children. They didn't run over them. They didn't, break their arms or legs. But did they neglect the children in such a way that they could have been harmed?
Yes.
And, well, is there a history with Ignacia and Jonathan with Nehemiah of Nehemiah actually being exposed to drugs?
And Your Honor, I would object to speculation, facts not in evidence. The testimony was that none of the prior cases involved Jonathan Rodriguez.
Staying.
Was there a case involving Nehemiah,
Yes.
who is Jonathan Rodriguez's child?
Yes.
And Nehemiah tested positive for drugs?
Yes.
I'll pass the witness.
Ms. Naranjo?
Thank you, Your Honor. Ms. Hooper, Ms. Casillas has an extensive CPS history, is that correct?
Yes.
And of all her kids that are involved with that, other than the current children in this case today, are any of them in her care?
No.
Now, throughout this case, have you heard testimony today that at the initiating of this case that the safety plan was violated 3 times?
Yes.
And then have there been constant issues back and forth between whether or not Jonathan was present or not in the home, violating the court order or not, that has now led to the parents being back on supervised visitation?
Yes.
And has now been a constant issue between whether or not orders either from the court or requests from the department are being followed?
Yes.
And has that continued to be a repeated issue for about 1.5 years?
Yes.
Pass the witness.
All right. Anybody else?
Your Honor, I have a follow-up.
All right.
Sorry. Ms. Hooper, you stated that that the kids have been, you're concerned about the kids being in a dangerous situation with Mr. Rodriguez and Ignacia. Is that correct?
Yes.
But for 1.5 years, there's been no allegations of any type of domestic violence or anything like that. Isn't that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Now, earlier, you had stated that that you'd heard Ms. Rudd was asking you about allegations that were coming in about different things that Ignacio was allegedly doing. You stated that Elia had been contacting you up until the kids were removed the first time. Is that correct?
Yes. We went a long time without any contact. So most of our contact was when the first time the children were removed. Well,
Okay.
not first, but in September.
Okay. Okay. And so do you have ongoing contact with Ms. Elia Gomez at this time or no?
I do not.
Okay. And then you stated most of the allegations came from Gloria. You stated that. Do you recall saying that?
Back from when they were placed in October of last year.
Just throughout this case, I mean, do you receive allegations from Gloria?
I receive allegations from Gloria.
Okay. And is it on a regular basis?
No.
Okay. And are the allegations against the parents?
When I do receive an allegation, it is against the parents.
Okay. All right. I'll pass the witness.
Anybody else? Okay. Ms. Wildman, that was your last witness, correct?
Yes, Your Honor. The department rests.
Okay. Several things here. We're getting ready to recess for the day. Nori, are you available tomorrow, or do you have something else tomorrow morning?
Judge, let me look at my calendar, but I think I'm available. Give me a second.
And I want everybody else to, but we can continue this tomorrow. We're not going to interfere with Judge Baker because I've already talked to her about that. I'd like to pick this up tomorrow morning and get it done. And if anybody's got a conflict with another judge, let me know who it is, because my understanding is a final in a CPS It's precedence over everything except a criminal case.
Judge, I just have another CPS adversary with Judge Baker, but it's not till 3 o'clock. So as
Yeah.
long as we're done by 3, I should be okay.
Yeah. And I'm not gonna disagree with you because she just walked in. If
Judge,
anybody, go ahead. Anybody else have a conflict?
I do have a conflict with a case in Judge Hugel's court in Castro County. We have a final set. And I guess I will just email everyone at 10 till 5 and say, we're still going. It's the CPS final. It takes precedence, and see what Judge Hugel wants to do.
I'm so, what judge?
Hugel down in Plainview.
Okay, I've never met him. What kind of case is it?
It's a family law case where I'm a grandparent intervener.
Okay. What time?
And it's a final.
What time are you supposed to
At
start?
9.
Okay.
At 9.
Well, let me know what you find out. If you just email them and I'm not going to step on a district judge's toes, that's my understanding though, is that we take precedence. So I don't know. I've never seen that in a statute, but let's just see what happens. If everybody's available, then
I think might have a issue.
who?
She's raising her hand.
Who?
Miss Hooper.
Yeah.
You're
muted.
Everybody's talking and she's muted.
I thought I had court at 9 tomorrow morning with Judge Baker, but it's at 2:15.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I've
never
already
mind.
checked all that. Trust me, I checked that.
I bet you did.
So let's try to reconvene at 9 o'clock tomorrow morning and get this thing finished by hopefully no later than noon at the latest. So, okay.
I was gonna say the only conflict I have is an appointment at 11:30, but it is virtual. So if I would hope we would be done by then, so I don't want to reschedule, but I think I have to pay if I miss it.
Unless it's a medical emergency, then we're going to get this over with. I have Mariah Buchanan and Padillo Rodriguez. Are either one of them subpoenaed?
Mariah is my witness.
Is she subpoenaed?
She is subpoenaed.
You want me to bring her in and tell her she's still?
Yes, please.
Okay. What about who is Padillo Rodriguez? Whose witness is he or she? Anybody?
Jonathan,
No?
is that your dad?
Yeah, that's my dad. I accidentally spelled his name wrong. I guess I hit another button.
Was it supposed to be Pedro or?
Yes, sir. It's supposed to be
Okay.
Pedro.
Okay. Well, you didn't subpoena him though, did you?
No.
So okay, he's welcome to come back. But I'm going to let Miss Buchanan know. I'll get him in too, so they both know why they've been sitting in the waiting room so long. Okay, this is Judge Graham. If Miss Buchanan and Mr. Rodriguez, Pedro Rodriguez, if you'd both unmute. Miss Buchanan, we're recessing for the day, but I understand you were subpoenaed. We're going to pick it up again tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock. And I don't know who subpoenaed Miss Buchanan.
Ms. Rudd.
So
yes,
Miss Rudd, I'm going to let you call her first thing tomorrow so we can let her be excused. And Mr. Rodriguez, you're welcome. You're not under subpoena. You're welcome to be back in the waiting room tomorrow if you want, or if you don't want to, you can watch this on YouTube. So, okay, we'll stand in recess till 9 o'clock tomorrow. Nori, thank you so much.
fabulous. Thank you.
No problem, Judge. And I am available. I'll be here.
Okay, thank you so much.
No problem.